Welcome out, gamers and gamettes, to this RGL.GG Invite Highlander cast, where we have come after a very long road to the end of season 23. That's right, it is the grand finals between Dumb Kids and Witness Gaming. I am Alto, joined by Zag to my side, Dolphin behind the camera as always. Zag, how you doing tonight?
Doing great. Excited to see these grand finals. We've been excited all season for this matchup between these two teams. These are, on paper, pretty evenly matched teams. Regular season went the side of Dumb Kids. Upper bracket went the side of Witness Gaming. So there's precedent for both these teams winning. And we have a crazy pick ban, quite frankly. And there's going to be a lot of chaos. We have no idea what can happen come end of the night. But we will be crowning a champion here of this very good season.
Yep, let's get the rosters out of the way, Zach, so we can talk about these maps. You got right into it. On the side of Dumb Kids, it will be triple on Scout, Billy Boy Soldier, Melon, or excuse me, I'm switching my names up. Fuzzy on Pyro, Crump on Demo Man, back after last night, Took on Heavy, Carson on Engineer, Blake Medic, Brian Sniper, and Jacob on Spy.
And on the side of Witness Gaming, we've got Blank on Scout, Poseidon on Soldier, Melon on Pyro, Kira on Demo Man, Eerie on Heavy, Flu on Engineer, Ashley on Medic, Lenny on Sniper, and Fish on Spy.
Yep, and so to set the stage between these two teams, we played in the regular season. Dumb Kids took a hard fought. I think it was it a 4-2?
4-3, I think. 4-2 or 4-3.
I think it was a 4-2 in the regular season on Product against Witness Gaming. Witness Gaming run it back in the playoffs. See what I did there? On Product itself, and took a 4-3 win back in their favor before, was it the Vigil? It was the Vigil, I think, that they took a pretty
2-0.
solid 2-0 on, thus putting them into the grand finals as the upper seed. So they come into tonight's best of 5 with a map advantage. That is the reward for winning out the upper bracket. And now let's move on to the maps.
Yeah, and we've got interesting ones, like I mentioned in the intro, and the thing I want to direct everyone's attention to is we have Vigil and Swiftwater bans from opposing teams. It seems that Dumb Kid Swiftwater has been a thing to be feared because they've not been allowed to play it. And, if that's what the teams have decided on, that's what they've decided on. And Dumb Kids, I'd say smartly adjusting their ban, a Vigil ban after the disaster that was last week on that map pick from Witness, really does warrant the ban. As a result, Witness Gaming have come in with the Steel first pick, which is I don't know if it's unprecedented in a Highlander Grand Final, but it's definitely very rare.
Yeah, I don't think it's unprecedented. I think we've seen teams pick up before. I think probably any match where Chill Penguins or somebody helped might have been the upper seed. It was very possible that they would have been the ones first picking it. But it is definitely rare. I think teams that tend, when you tend to be the upper seed, you do not usually want a map that's as high variance as Steel. And I think the pick here signals to me one of a few things. One, confidence/ego, which I think could possibly play into it. B, I think that there's probably a weakness that they're expecting that DK is going to have on it, while they also think they're going to be very, very well practiced on it, which is interesting because I think getting practice on Steel in the playoffs is so difficult. Because by this time of the season, every other team has finished their season basically, other than the team you're having your match against. So you're only getting
fighting pug scrims on Steel, which is not really indicative of your actual match. So, yeah, I can definitely see that being a bit of a wild card, but that's what they've gone with. Meanwhile, Dumb Kids for their first pick, they're running back Product. They said we won it in regular season, upper bracket. We narrowly lost, and they probably felt like they didn't play up to their potential on that day. So they've, put all in on Product. This is a must-win map for them. And then Upward is the next pick out of Witness Gaming. Now, if Witness Gaming win their 2 map picks, which are the 2 stopwatches here tonight, they are the invite champions with that 3 overall maps from their upper bracket map adding on to that total. Dumb Kids have to win a stopwatch, whether it be Steel or Upward, to force us onto that tiebreaker map.
Exactly, yeah. And I think that they have maps that do favor them. I'm interested in them picking Product over Asheville. I feel like historically Asheville is more of the DK map pick, and Product, as we've seen, can go either way. But I think they had a pretty solid performance on it last night. Maybe they're feeling confident on it. Might feel a little bit more warmed up because Asheville's been banned against them throughout a lot of the playoffs. But Steel is a map that I don't want to write it. You can't write it for Witness Gaming right away. You'd like to think the confidence is there. It can go either way, right? And the second that Witness Gaming loses a stopwatch map, suddenly it's now, they're the ones that have to pull off the win on a COF map. And I think that any momentum, a DK Steel win is taking into process could spell a pretty quick 2 maps, which ironically isn't going to take it, right? At that point, you're still only going to be up 2-1. You're still going to have to play upward. And if you lose that, then you go to Asheville, and then we're here all night. But I think looking at the strength of their team, knowing how good Brian can be, when you have that sniper win con, a lot of the map here have that sniper win con, especially the 2 in the middle.
Yeah, and for dumb kids, right, you gotta wonder what their practice looked like, because they put in work on product. They probably gave an Asheville scrim or two, but when the same thing about Witness Gaming's steel pick, where like they might not get the best practice. Same goes for dumb kids. Their steel scrims are going to be that quality or lower because it's not their map pick. They're not used to playing it. I wonder if that's a map where you come into the playoffs, you're swapping off your ban, because the steel's their ban normally. They swapped off it to go vigil ban. Do they do you practice with the intent of saying that steel's forfeit, just letting it go, saying if we're not going to be the better team on the day, we're not winning steel anyway, so just put all the eggs in product to get us to upward, and then try upward, because upward as a map that we don't really see often in playoffs, and most of the time it's like the week 1 map or week 2 map in this regular season. So teams are a lot more rusty on upward, and practice, same thing with steel. It won't be completely indicative of team strength coming towards the end of the season. But upward is a map where Brian can take over, and if they figure that their chances on upward are significantly higher than steel, I gotta imagine that if you're planning your practice going into grand finals, you probably bet way harder on upward.
Yeah, I think that's a fair argument to make here. And I mean, I'm just thinking of looking at the last BO3 between these two teams, right? DK banned Steel as the upper seed, which, you're usually going to see. That's the more common piece here, but then that Vigil was somewhat of a nightmare for them. So I think from their perspective, too, you're getting rid of Vigil, which is a map that, they've been dropping halves on it. They've dropped at least a half on it to every playoff team at this point, if not lost a map on it outright. And instead of getting rid of Vigil and then, getting another payload, you get Steel. Is probably pretty close to a best case scenario for them. And then, as you were saying, coming in with the upward third with product there, if Steel comes through, I think there's a very possible, there's a timeline here where DK is able to just ring off 3 in a row.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be one hell of a way to close out the season in your favor. And who knows, maybe upward goes over to Witness Gaming as their pick, and we go all night to that Asheville Game 5. I know that some people may not want to be here all night. One of them may or may not be sitting next to me, but jokes aside, right? This has the potential to go all the way. You always, as casters, you always want to hype up, people who want to see the game go all the way and have as high quality of a grand finals as possible. You always want to talk and think like it so you can try to will it into existence. But I can see the road here tonight, which is what I feel like you're saying, right? We can definitely be very competitive on pretty much all of these maps, and that's partially due to just the bans that have come across of Vigil Swiftwater bans off the table, Proot not getting picked. We have a Steel first pick in grands. Anything can happen.
Yeah, it really can. And I feel like, ironically, if Visual we know is going to be heavily Witness favored, I feel like Swiftwater to me would have been Witness favorite as well. Obviously, the fact that they've banned it twice means that it pretty much will be.
Yeah, they don't think so, yeah.
But after those 2 maps, I don't know if there's a map that I would heavily favor towards either team.
Yeah, I mean, I'd imagine that if you were to say one, it'd probably be Steel for Witness, but that's all speculation, right? Anything can happen on a Steel, and we've said it 4 times already tonight, but that is the theme of these maps and these teams right now, is we really don't know who's going to get it across the line. A lot to be played, hopefully, and we are getting all the players in the server. We have about hit that 20-minute past start time mark, so just hanging out with you guys, chilling for a bit while we get our last couple players in the server. And I guess we can do predictions for Steel, right, Dolphin? See if we can get those up, because I wonder if if people like seen or like heard about the steel pick and like seen the scrims, because I'd imagine that there's probably a few people in the chat who like pug scrimmed either of these teams on steel over the week.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're hearing there was definitely some pug scrims happening either for pregame or over the course of the weekend. I'm excited to see Invite Grand Final steel. Very few things make me as happy as that. It tends to be a good time. Just because, it's kind of like what we saw in that last half of Vigil last night, right? Where, the 5-minute cap comes out of ribs and everyone's like, oh, that's going to be it. And then it really forces DK to turn on the jet. They come in about 4:50, 4:45. Where with steel, it does not matter what the time is. If it's more than 2 minutes, it can be pushed.
Yeah, the map just works that way, and there's a lot of strats that teams can opt into. I forget who it was when we watched the Steel regular season match between Rib Penguin, was it? No, it was
DZ Rib.
Yeah, DZ and Rib. We saw some really fun strats there. There was a moment where I think a sniper just like blind body shot an invisible spy, and they straight up said send an entire combo through connector. Stuff like that's really cool, and you can do that. And the teams will have these teams are like on paper higher quality than the Ribs and the DZ Creepers of mid invite, right? So mid high invite on Ribs case. So there's just a lot of things that can happen. I think I said they're mid high invite.
Here's how Rib can still win. But yeah, no, it's it feels like this is one of the maps where you constantly see things. I mean, I'm realizing now it's probably not that new, but I remember the first time we saw the Apollo Dash fake Uber push sack onto B, where they just run like 5 people out of the tunnel and just try to, scare the medic into popping. And you're like, huh, that's a really smart idea. These guys might be good at this game.
There's a lot of cool ideas. Like, I remember in the regular season match as well, we saw Demo Knight try charging out of main with a pipe to get the crit pipe on the dispenser that the medic always hides in. Of course, we also have the classic sniper drop-down shot that, despite being the most known cheese tactic on this entire map, still works like 50% of the time a sniper tries doing it.
Yeah. Happens. I mean, I think we saw it in that steel match in the regular season.
That steel match had everything, honestly. That was a banger match.
So it's, you can see that. I'll ask you this, Zach. Do you think we get an A to E tonight?
Do I think we get an A to E tonight? I think it honestly depends if we go to 3 or not. I think if one of the two teams has like a really dominant first round, I think like this just gets rolled over. Do you mean attempted AE or successful AE?
Successful AE.
I think it depends if it goes to 3 or not.
I think we're gonna.
I think if we witness 2-0 this, I don't think we do.
I think teams are comfortable enough threatening E with the combo before backing out without even necessarily committing that I think we're gonna, if you count that as an attempt, I think we'll see that definitely. I'm of the opinion I don't think we're gonna see one. I think these two teams are good enough to not let that happen. I do think we may see an ABE tonight though, which is maybe not as rare at this level, but definitely, a little bit funky to pull off.
On the AE aspect, I think it's only done by Witness Gaming if they have a really like disastrous defense in one of the halves, which is why I think if it goes to 3 halves is when we have a chance of seeing it. Because I think that this match either goes 2-0 Witness or 2-1 for either. I think there's 0 World War Dumb Kids 2-0s this map. And I think if this does go all the way and like Dumb Kids is actually pushing Witness might be forced to try for an AE, and I think that they could potentially make it work. That's the only scenario I see it happening.
All right. I'm playing out the scenarios in my head. Yeah, 2-0 DK does feel unlikely on this.
Yeah, that feels like it's never going to happen tonight on Steel.
I mean, never say never on anything, but yeah, it's definitely going to be the least likely possibility. I am just thinking, looks like we do have about 30 seconds until we go live here. So, Zag, I'll throw it to you. Who are you spotlighting to be a difference maker here for either team?
I mean, there's so many great players on both sides of the server that we've seen them. Like, you gotta, like, say the snipers, obviously. Like, both these snipers have been, like, major engines for their teams to actually get rolling and start doing things. It's Highlander. That's just how the game mode works. Yeah, thanks for the yawn. All right, let's be a bit less boring then. I think Took versus Eerie is going to be like quietly the most important heavy matchup in like an Inventorance.
Okay.
In a long time. I think that both these heavy players have like very different play styles, where Took like plays a lot more solo, a lot more split, whereas Eerie plays more team focused. But both of them are like such central driving forces to their combos, and like whenever they're playing flanked out on a map like Product, that I think we might see Took put in like I think if DK want to win tonight, Took has to be definitively like the better heavy, which is weird to say about heavy as a class, right? Normally the heavy difference will not be that big of a difference maker in the overall match. I think Took has to show a big fight.
Yeah, I would agree. I think even we saw last, we've seen it in their previous games where when Took's able to have that mojo going, he ends up being a really big factor for the team. I also think that Eerie's a player, especially on Steel, that is liable to randomly take us back to 2013, grab 40% beam, and just drop a fat one on the entire server. So we'll see if he's able to have one of those monster halves, but nothing too suspicious right now. I guess the gun on the cliff isn't always what you see from the Blue NG, but they're going to cap it up.
The most interesting thing so far is that the B entrance for Dumb Kids, they didn't put anything there. No sentry gun, no sniper, no nothing. They just cap A, and then now everyone is rotating together towards that B entryway. Meanwhile, on flank, we see only NG and Soldier, not even a spy. So that tells me the Dumb Kids are not actually trying to put any E pressure right now. Yeah, Billy Boy's gonna go on drop down. They're gonna make a plan to it. They stab Eerie and force that Uber. Or no, they don't force the Uber, but they did look for some kills, and getting heavy is a pretty good pick.
Carson sparking on A. Carson's alone on A with a gun and a telly.
Yeah, Brian takes down Lenny there in SBS. Yeah, and they're going to take the Uber straight through main now. And look at this, the combo for Witness Gaming is backing up. They don't want to be close up without the sniper able to watch and deny for them. So they're just going to get all the way back here onto their sentry gun. Upper being vacated means that Dumb Kids and Took are going to have control of that. So we'll see when these Uber decides to come in. Triple is flanking behind with the team, and they're going to exchange Ubers in the front. Pyro Fuzzy getting launched up to the top, but we'll get a flash and back to safety. Eerie and Took both heavies going down. Too slow to really cut out. But look at this early banner for Poseidon. He's going to be big in denying this.
Yeah, it's gonna get fuzzy and it's gonna get Crump. Good presence from behind. Carson still moved his gun up into Wishbone, but with Crump going down and Fuzzy as well, there's no one coming in through the front door to have that pincer attack. So they're able to just, slowly play around. They're starting to get the spam onto the gun. Carson wrangles it, but that's probably gonna spell its doom as it's not firing. They do manage to get the gun down, and I don't think he's got the telly behind him as well.
All this seems to be a bit robot-y right now, so I'll take this for a bit on the re-push. It will be just a walkout from the side of Dumb Kids trying to go through main. They're going to lose a couple players, but they get even more. Look at this. Took gets the kill on Ashley with Melon and Eerie dropping and Blank eating a pipe. That's going to be pretty much a full wipe for the combo of Witness Gaming. Only Flu left alive, and that was great claps from Dumb Kids getting in there and just everyone finding the kills, even Carson cleaning up Lenny at the end there. So Dumb Kids do really well to start things off here. They get B on a 2-shot pretty much, and now they're going to be looking to run through Wishbone. With all these late spawners, C probably is forfeit, so Dumb Kid's gonna get 2 points in 1.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, with the cap coming in, the backspawn only comes through now, right as the team's getting in through Wishbone. Level 1 gun from Carson already there. Playing out from Hell. Can I get some chip damage on Fuzzy, who's now suddenly caught in the middle of the red combo? The Uber comes out. Melon gets body shot. Will go down. Fish on the back end of this Uber, but all of the kills coming in favor of DK. Ashley only at 45%. Still up in the East, and so as you said, C just going to be a matter of time. And am I still lagging?
Yeah, a little bit. I'll take it for a bit, see if you can figure out if maybe a restart would help or something. But with C capped up, we will see the bridges drop, and early sentry gun up for Flu will get taken down, but does see distractions. Trying to get onto the combo right now is Fish, but will get taken out by Carson. Triple eats a headshot, means it's hard to get up top. Billy Boy, big bomb into upper, but reflected and taken down. It looks like by now Witness Gaming have set up in heaven with enough players that Dumb Kids really cannot, justify pushing through Wishbone anymore. They're going to rotate their combo out towards spawn and probably just go for the standard lobby setup. They're 3 points in 3 minutes right now, which is pretty good, but really at this point for Dumb Kids, you have to find an entryway into something. If they're going to rotate entire combo over to lobby, side, you gotta imagine that they're gonna be looking to just split pressure into D and E, see if they can, force a bad Uber trade or get some picks here or there. Now the question is, can they get through? They're gonna pop Uber immediately and just run it straight in. Counter Uber out for Witness Gaming here. Much better Uber for them, and it's like DK barely get out in time. Don't get stuck in from the Stickies, but now Stickies plays, blow up Fuzzy and Toot. Kira does big damage in this post. Demo Man caught out in no man's land. Crump will be going down, and just like that, Witness Gaming have held tall here. Pretty much only losing Flu, which, losing your engineer on defense is never a good thing, but keeping everyone up means that they will be able to just fully reset here.
Test, test, test. How am I sounding? Any better?
Still a bit, but it's a little bit better. I don't know. Try taking it for a little bit.
All right, yeah. So we'll see how DK is going to decide to regroup here. They've now got that lobby control. The kills they managed to get under pressure were enough to force out the red combo. So they'll be able to stage from here now as they're just putting all the pressure in towards E right now. Really not looking to get anything towards D. Duke walking forward, draws a lot of aggro, but will get sniped out as well. Gonna get hit low, will be able to safely retreat to the lobby where Carson's got a gun. And now they're going for the bait, switching over towards D. Uber's popped out right here, being stage blank, sniped out as it begins, but Eerie taking that full team, just standing tall, a menace, starts to sneak back out, get in towards TD to break that line of sight. Kira takes backstab out of Jacob, will go down, but easily won. They've got to watch out the Letty snipe into the DE right now, but it looks like they're both safe to cross. The fight now comes in from spawn with that high ground, forces them potentially back into the sight line, but Brian is the one getting kills onto Eerie. Letty finds Carson, but the decap likely going to go through.
Yeah, and Sentry Gun is still up right now from Carson here, so it's going to be denying. Blake did get an Uber saw at some point in that fight from the Spy, and he has about a 10% out to work with, but look at these kills coming in downtime. Flu and Kira both get picked off by pick classes, and now with those bridges protected, it is going to be 4 players for Dumb Kids on the point. Stacking it up, Tuke is in heaven. It's gonna have to be a wishbone push from Witness Gaming. They're stacking up as many players as they can to get ready, but no one really in position quite yet. It's a soldier and a medic only up here. Heavy hits the jump, so Erie's gonna be with them as well. The question is, can they actually get through here? Sticky's being spent by Crump. Fuzzy goes down, doesn't get any heals to be taken down, and Fish's stab on Brian is huge. Uber out here from Witness, trying to find whatever kills they can. They gotta be careful they don't get let out to dry. Fish gonna go down. Tuke, a low ground fighting with Billy, and they're gonna clean up Blank. Billy's still alive, jumping back to this team. Uber up for Dumb Kids, and they're going to restack onto the point. It's only 5 alive for Witness, make it 4 with Melon going down. Kira needs to do big work here, and he gets someone off. Carson will barely surf onto the pipe and keep his life for now, but no one is capping crucially. Eerie has heaven. Ashley eats a headshot. That's a big one. No more heals for pretty much the rest of the round for Witness. Trying to get any more denial onto point, but really no one going to be able to get onto it. Eerie going to go down, so will Flu and Poseidon, and there's going to be the cap up for Dumb Kids in just a moment. There we go. 648 for 5 points all the way around the world for Dumb Kids. Not blazing, not terrible. It's probably a pretty average time. I'd say going first round of Steel Grand Finals on opponent's map pick, that's solid. You're not too upset about that. The question is,
pretty good time to start. Pretty good time to start. Am I? Okay, that's good. Let me know if it lagged up again. But yeah, I had high hopes for that Uber coming out of Witness able to defend them. They got a bunch of kills with it, but I think they were probably a little too slow getting them, and it ended up leaving them too scattered after the fact. So they were able to get cleaned up, and, those long spawn timers on defense means even just trading is eventually going to give you 10, 15 seconds of a numbers ad. And on that note, gotta give credit to Jacob. They're stabbing Kira basically twice in a row off respawn. Means no enemy demo for pretty much a minute straight. And DK, doing as top invite teams are wont to do, and taking advantage of the fact that you have a minute straight with no demo man.
Yeah, eventually getting it through around the world for Dumb Kids. Like I said, pretty safe overall for your first offense, and now swapping over onto defense. We'll see if they can hold their nearly 7-minute time. It's hard to do against a team like Witness, especially when it's their map pick that they likely have a bit more practice on, but not undoable by any stretch. So we will see Witness start their campaign on offense here. Lenny peeking through B, everyone else going onto A side right now. Kira sticks on the shutter. Sentry Gun set up in the middle of that door for the side of Flu. We'll see if they decide to move it forward with a flank. We saw Dumb Kids were pretty conservative with their E pressure. They pretty much just put Soldier through, and a scout came through later on. So Right now we're seeing about the same thing, just soldier, engineer, and then we have a spy. We'll see on the other side the combo looking to exchange. They've moved a lot of players into upper. Melon immediately gets shredded on the staircase. They're going to lose Kira, and I think the goal there was just try to dislodge the heavy, but really not finding the kill they wanted.
On E right though, Flu just getting whipped through. Jacob's calling it, but he's not gonna really be able to do anything. The gun's going down in the sea.
Someone should pick this. He's going to decloak, stab, and sap. It's going to be a really great play. Just watch.
We can hope. We can hope. It's Fish now coming back in. He's gonna call the spy there.
Yeah, they're gonna go for it. They're gonna go for it. Yeah, sap on the gun. The rest of the team pushing in onto it. Gun gonna go down. Can't be safe, but everyone else staying alive there. That means there's pretty big distraction still in here. It will be Jacob dead as well, so no comms going forward. Blank going down late though will be pretty big, and Billy Boy cleans up Fish as well, and that's that back force being taken care of. Kira eating a headshot on the front lines means that this Uber exchange has ended firmly in favor of Witness Gaming. Yeah, Witness digging in their heels here with that play back onto DK.
Now, what I will say is that Poseidon didn't go down here. He's still in the back line. Flu has the gun. He's building a battalion, just Eureka affected back to spawn. So they win out on the Uber exchange. They're milking valuable time off the clock. But I'm keeping my eye on Wishbone right now because that's going to be potentially the key to getting in. Jacob finds the telly down in hell, which is going to be a nice pickup for him. Gun's still there, and I think it cuts Flu off from being able to get back to his gun.
Yeah, play being made on B into the staircase. They do manage to get the heavy on top, so it will be with that teleporter down, Dumb Kids having that, or Witness rather, having that space to work with. We will see Banner popped out of Billy Boy here, which is pretty good for DK. They're going to turn around and look for some damage. And Brian going off, healing Blank and Fish. And just like that, Witness Gaming, and they have control of the main right now. But Uber is up for Witness here, or for DK here. So likely going to try and pop around the corner the second someone touches that point.
Yeah, Lenny is set up to deny a lot of space here, though. He's going to force that early Uber. And, yep, they're just getting ready, I think, to pop back out. Kira's getting sticks down. Air blasting it out.
Ooh,
it gets the dead on the triples. Scout drop is going to be big as the Uber fight is solely on Kira. Way more flashes on the defense.
Oh, but Billy Boy's
chasing Billy. Yep, up towards Seacliff. He's going to go down Duke up in the window. Getting spammed out.
This one's done.
Time. The rest of the combo walking out, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Kira goes down. So does Erie. But Fuzzy goes down, and they don't have the numbers to deal with the sniper or the gun set up here. B will go over. However, that's been about half of the time on the clock. Witness Gaming need to, start lighting that fire under them to start moving to the rest of these points.
Yeah, shame triple got dropped there. I would have loved to see that Uber exchange on an even footing, but without him, no one can really chase down any kills. Meanwhile, we do see DK have gotten out onto C. They have about even Ubers, small advantage. Pick off Fish, that's a pretty one to find. No one able to call who's standing where anymore. And it looks like the main force of Witness Gaming have come out onto E, and they're going to try stacking onto E. They have control of Heaven with Poseidon. Poseidon going to be controlling that lunchbox area, going to be denying the engineer setup, so Carson going to have to find a new home for now. And this looks like committal, so if you are Dumb Kids, you have to at some point make a move to go onto E and dislodge these players who are capping.
The combo's actually coming in through Wishbone right now.
I think Fish called the rotate, so yeah, they're just going to go back and fight them.
If Uber's popped out though, and then this Pyro Uber's going to get actually in the pit! Just took a step in the wrong direction, and suddenly that is a dead medic. The cap time, however, from Blank has been built up with the Uber fading. Yep, they're going to get Yuri into the pit as well. Another sacrifice.
Blake, 2 saws on Fish? You cannot give away 2 saws like that. I mean, I guess it doesn't matter as much because you're playing offense and you have to build your Uber up anyway, but now Blake has pretty much full Uber advantage for the side of DK. So just like that, DK get a chance to dig in their heels here. It's only 2.5 minutes left off the clock. Carson eats a body shot out of the window, so that means he still can't get set up. But there's Brian to the 9.
Yeah, getting the edge is nice. It means that gun probably gets spammed out here, but no Lenny in the window means that you're going to be able to play wide on last. 2 minutes left, I think that's a fine call. But I mean, just really uncharacteristic mistake there from Ashley to let herself get air blasted into the pit like that.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, it does cost them more time on building this Uber, so they're just going to cap up C and charge up their last 30%. You got to imagine that they probably want to go through death here. Yeah, they're going to group up over there and see if they can get all the way to D. They have Fish in calling that no one's there immediately to deny, so just going to go straight through, not even have to worry too much about it.
Yeah, they lose Lenny, though, which means that there's no pressure onto the E point. Uber coming up, they now are going to use or drop down here. Not used yet. Starting the captain as the Uber comes in, they're trapped with nowhere to go. But, who knows who's trapped in here with who. The Ubers will cycle out Rest of Red's going to back out. I think they're going to take the time to climb up through spawn, come back in with the high ground. Billy Boy trying to walk out. Erie's doing a good job denying the spawn, though. Lenny getting a headshot and sniping in from the cave area.
Melon is stuffing the DE connector so well, they can't get any spam, and Crump really didn't get any damage onto the point, and D goes over just like that. Now, 1 minute on the clock. Keep in mind, E needs 30 seconds on a 5x here. So the time has to start ticking if you are Witness Gaming here. They have a 2x scout now capping it up, and the Heaven setup is just dismantled. Carson's gun is not long for this earth, and he's dead as well. So just like that, they're going to be stacking onto it. If you are Witness, or if you're Dumb Kids, you have to find a way on.
Big shot onto Ashley, and that cuts you off the replay. Two coming from low, the rest of the team coming in through Wishbone. Two goes down,
Billy Boy gets the
down Melon's neck. Lots of frags training in both areas. The Witness Gaming spawn, they're so quick though, they're already coming back up. They've got a telly up on A. Could be very important over the next 30 seconds or so. And they've got enough halftime.
Huge. Yep. It's a massive pick from Jacob, and now the Uber comes in. Yep, coming in, trying to clean up all these players. Poseidon stuck on high ground, will just go down. So will Blank. Blank kill is big. That's a scout now with a respawn timer. Still, times are very quick, and I don't think they can do it anymore. 15 seconds, and no one's even close. I think Dumb Kids is going to take our first round here.
I believe they are as well. A series of untimely deaths from Ashley take what could have maybe been a winnable fight there, and are just going to flip things entirely. Brian able to get the headshot there, following up with the air blasts coming out of Fuzzy. Means that, you know, just too many pushes in a row not going their way, combined with the fact that their B push didn't look that sharp from a team that picked this map. You know, if you're DK, I think you're pretty happy with this map being first so far.
Yeah, I mean, credit where credit's due. DK has... Jacob knew... Like, okay, where Jacob is cloaked, by the way, he's cloaked exactly on where the sentry gun is going to be at the start of that round when he knows that they're going to put it in Wishbone. So that's a preset play. They've watched the VODs, they've watched the scrims, right? They know exactly what the Witness Gaming play is there. And just a great call by Jacob, great follow-up by Billy Boy is able to dismantle that behind setup. And it feels like Witness Gaming put a lot of stock into that, you know, having some kind of value. But at the end of the day, it really doesn't get much, and Beast stalled out. Like you said, they lost about half the time just capping those first 2 points. So, I mean, Dumb Kids, credit where credit's due. They've come prepared on their opponent's map pick, and a map that does not get played first almost ever in Grand Finals.
Yeah, and I mean, I think you mentioned with Jacob too, I think really good of him to be able to continually hunt down the teleporter out of Flu, going in, you know, kind of roaming around the Beck area and just able to go down, keep the eyes on, even finding it down in Hell, which is a position that I don't usually see a telly go into, right? You see it on C, you see it in Wishbone, you see it up closer to the C spawn. It's usually not down in Hell, so able to find that means, you know, Flu actually had a level 1 in Wishbone, but when the telly gets sapped and he can't Eureka effect back to it, means he actually just blew it up and had to rebuild it at spawn. You know, ends up helping them, you know, finalize the B push later on, but still, that's just more time off the clock. And DK, you know, for a team that had banned this map a week ago, looking pretty solid on it.
Blake has 1 death compared to Ashley's 4. That's an amazing round out of Blake.
When would that death have? When was that death?
I would imagine it's a chaos death, right? When like one of the teams would have wiped, which means he had like no off-time deaths. If that's the case, you can check and make sure that it's like an end round death. But if that's the case, that means Blake really never died.
Yeah, died the second that they won.
Yeah, and then round death. Yeah, Blake never died. That's like a perfect half out of Blake.
Yeah, 1,500 heals per minute is going to do that.
Yeah, so crazy out of Blake there to stay alive. And like you mentioned, Ashley getting air blasted into the pit kind of started off a chain reaction of Witness Gaming. The snowball that they could have potentially gotten off of capping B finally really just was not able to get going. And they stalled out on E. They had to go C. They had to go D. And they just ran out of time.
Positive. 2-1.
True.
Two kills on Fish.
Also, the Uber saws on Fish are huge. I mean, speaking of Fish, really around to forget. I don't recall him really having impact.
Yeah, no, I mean, not some low damage stats on the side of Witness Game, which I think is expected. But Jacob, I mean, I think we saw, right, consistently making good calls, had that really good, you know, well-timed decloak on the flank, trying to set up in Wishbone there for a while. Got those 2 kills on Kira when they were pushing DE. That really set the table for them. And I mean, Fish, let me see what the kills were on. 2 snipers and a heavy, not bad. But, you know, I think if you're getting stabs and we're not really calling them out, they're probably not at opportune times.
Yeah, it's not
You
to say
know,
we're perfect, but it is
sometimes.
true that like if a spy makes a big play, it'll get called out. And it doesn't even have to be like a multi-kill, right? Just the fact that like Jacob has the play set up where they're gonna take down the flank presence. Like that's a play that is spy centric. You know, you do that with the comms from your spy with the decloak. He's not gonna get the kill there. It's not gonna look pretty on the stat sheet, but that's his play, right? So, I mean, we've given him his due credit for that first round, and now Dumb Kids leading 1-0 on Witness's map pick on Steel. Witness Gaming, I mean, you're kind of on the back foot on a map you didn't expect to be, so the question now is, where do you go?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'd be interested to see what the mix-up is, because there's a lot of ways they can go, right? You know, I think if you're going to say, okay, our B push wasn't as good as we want, do we want to toy with the idea of sending our combo AE? You know, do we think that more people could be sent flank? I've seen a while where I've seen the Pyro go in through the, head into lobby with the rest of the flank to help the NG get set up better. Might have been able to catch Jacob that way. Who knows? I'm actually, now I meant to say this before. I am shocked Lenny did not attempt a drop down shot.
Yeah, that's kind of a classic for these high invite snipers. I mean, I can understand maybe not in the first round, but at the same time, maybe the surprise factor of the first round comes in. At the end of the day, he just decided that he'd be more useful. I think he was a scoping B main for most of it, so probably just wanted to see if he could deny on the front lines, which, you know, you can respect. It's at the end of the day, that's what he chose to do. He
Of
probably
course, I kind
figured
of
that.
respect it. It's the what is it? It's the low risk, high reward play, not instead of the high risk, high reward play. I will say though, if I'm playing against Lenny, I'm not. Oh, he didn't go the drop down shot this time. We can ease up on it. I'm not. I'm
Yeah,
expecting him to
no.
do it nonstop.
If anything, you expected more next round. And I gotta say, when I think about going into this next round for Witness Gaming, I actually don't like that they're pushing first. I think Dumb Kids is, I don't want to say they're playing with house money, but I definitely feel like they're a bit unchained right now, where they're willing to go for the plays they have set up and kind of play their own game after seeing it work. So I think that Witness Gaming setting the pace for Dumb Kids to kind of like, you know, play around is dangerous. I think that's really dangerous.
Yeah. No, I think that pushing second bonus is always going to be even bigger on Steel because you have so many different routes you can take. Knowing exactly how long you have can be a little bit more informative than it can on, payload maps where it's, oh, we got to push faster. Whereas Steel, it's, maybe you go for like a kind of Hail Mary E-push that ends up working out because of the clock that you may not have otherwise. So, yeah, it really puts them in a bit of a shaky spot here. I think you need to see a really fast offense out of them because I think that DK's coming in after winning last night, right? So they've got some mojo. They just, took out Rib. Fan favorites as they are, and you drop the first half here. If you cap in like 7 minutes, right? My money's on DK to push that.
Yeah,
I think
I
you
agree.
give
That's why I think it's
DK the
dangerous.
clock
Yeah.
to measure themselves against. You want like sub 5 here.
Yeah,
I mean, even then, you weren't there. I'm not sure if you were watching the cast last night, Zach, but
No, I was
third
not.
half of Vigil, Rib turns on the Jets, caps in like 5:03. And then DK does it right back to them, caps in 4:45. So you're like, oh, Rib's gonna show us map 3, and no, DK knows how to push under a time limit. They know what it takes, so you do not have a lot of rope to give them.
Yeah, and the one thing I want to see at the start of this next round for Witness is what's your response to the counterplay out of DK? Because your idea of setting up in Wishbone, that's like, I don't say it's a standard play, but it's a very like well-known play. It has very like good returns on what you're investing in. Obviously, there's some other plays like setting up the Sentry more passive and just try and have your scout duel on E while you get cap time, maybe force a combo rotation into E. But setting up in behind deep is their default, is what we've seen. Now, their default didn't actually do very well last round. So my question now for Witness Gaming is, what's your play after your default? Do you try to run it back and see if you have any counterplay to that? Do you spy check for Jacob? Do you think you know where he is? If you're Jacob, do you go for a different play entirely? Do you, now that everyone expects you to be on Wishbone, do you go for just a decloak on B fast? There's a lot of options going through, and for Witness Gaming, the adjustments have to come because again, this is your map pick.
Yeah, and I mean, I think just overall, you want to see more out of some of their big classes, right? I mean, Fish, as we said, have to forget. I think you mentioned the heavy v heavy, right? Took's definitely performing better than Eerie. I wouldn't say either of them are really taking over the server, but Eerie is someone we were kind of looking for to have a big game, didn't really come out. Blank and Poseidon up there in kills, but wasn't really ever coming at, these big times, not really getting these big collapses. Hard to when Blake never really dies, right? But those are the types of things you're going to need to see. Kira 7 and 11 to Crumps 11 and 5, like, those 11 deaths on Steel are big, and a lot of those deaths were on defense. So there's a lot to tighten up here. I think beyond the bigger strategies of, how do you want to push B? What's your strategy afterward? I think there's just a little bit sloppy play, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I did see it sprinkled here and there. Obviously, there may be some grand finals jitters coming through from these teams, but on a map like Steel, I'm just so focused on the macro of it, especially because when you think about it, that was essentially a 6:40 time and a 7-minute time that we just saw, right? Which means that both these teams are playing Steel pretty conservatively. We saw double around the world, which makes sense. It's grand finals, you don't throw everything at the wall until you have to. So the question for Witness is, do you feel like you have to now? Are you going to go around the world again? Because like me and Alto both pointed out, if you give Dumb Kids a 7-minute time, you are in danger. And we'll have to see what they decide to do as we are getting into the second half here. Dumb Kids leading 1-0 on Witness Gaming pick of Steel. So we'll see if Dumb Kids can get that one quick off on the board and tie things up in this grand final.
Yeah, and I mean, it is worth noting, right? Reminder that it is a BO5, so even if they win this map and then they win the product, they still have one more that they're going to need to get. Benefit of coming in as the upper seed is you only need the 2 maps here. So, I definitely don't think we should be counting Witness Gaming out. I think maybe you could say it's a bit of a rough start. Hoping we're going to see them shape up a little bit here, and some of their bigger names are going to have a little bit more of an impact as we are waiting for. But DK is going to be very, very happy if they can take this, because it means that they only really need to focus on the cost, and that upward is just a bonus if they're able to win it.
Yep. With all that said, Gates about to drop on this second round of Steel. We'll see any adjustments coming through from Witness' offense, so you think get a slightly better time on the board. And I see one adjustment already. That is a full rollout onto A. They did not do this last time. And you know what that means? It means Lenny's going to go for drop down shot.
Yeah, I think that's quite likely. You want to find a way of getting a quick jolt of momentum that could very easily...
He's staring at the door. Look at him. He's staring at the doors. He's staring at it. He's going to do it. He's going to do it. He's going to go window real quick. Nope, he's going for it. He's going for it. All right. Do they see it coming? Where's Blake standing? He's in the dispenser. All right.
Jacob's nowhere near. He hasn't called it.
All right, here it
They're
comes.
They're shooting flares.
Down, looking for it. On fire immediately. That's a really good flare from Fuzzy. And yeah, Lenny going to get taken down.
I think the flare should matter, though, because he's got Cozy Camper on, right?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, it doesn't make it hard,
charged the shot, but...
There's a sticky in his face, too. Sticky in his face,
yeah, that would be it as well.
So, drop that shot, not going to go. Let's take a look at the flank spot right now, and it looks like it's going to be very similar. We have Engineer, Soldier, Scout staying up behind. Look at Took up top, shredding them in that stairwell. Yeah, and Took, a big opener there to deny any of that high ground. Now, we do turn our attention back to Wishbone. Jacob has chosen a different decloak spot, but I think he was spotted, so they know where he is. Black Box in here, and the gun's just dead immediately. Reflect Rocket, of all things, takes it down. And this is the same play that they made, except Jacob called out they were chasing him. So because of that, they could just walk in Wishbone.
Yeah, no, really, really good adaptation, as you said. But
Fish missed
just getting those 3 kills.
Yeah, Fish missed the sap on B, so the sentry gun doesn't go down. If the sapper comes on, they trade the Uber for the sentry, which you're fine with. But because Fish couldn't latch that sapper, gun is still here.
Yep, and now you got no Uber. Well, you do have a decent amount of flank presence. The telly's still set up. People are getting behind. They're trying to sniff Jacob out up top by the C spawn, but there they go. They got him. Fish gonna go down as well, though. However, they, in the meantime, have managed to back up the defense here. Gun in the passive spot. You used to see this way back in the day.
Yeah, look at Lenny.
Yep, activating Fuzzy and Brian both going down. And that's going to open up a lot of space for them. This PCAP probably has to be going over in favor of Witness Gaming, and a lot faster this time as well.
Yeah, it's only 70% Uber for Blake. They probably would have loved to go out here and contest, but you just can't get out there when you don't have that Uber charge. So we probably are going to see them try and hold a bit more intense on C. They're going to go into Wishbone here and try to take out this back setup. They will get Flu and the Sentry Gun and Teleporter, so there's going to be something for them on that end. Going to be getting into C.
They have the Uber out here. They're going to drop here. In the meantime, though, Blake still not having to use. This is going to be full Uber out for the defense right now. Lenny finds Brian. That was him onto the E point. Gonna be Lenny now popping out back out to the old forward spawn. Gonna try to get shots on Carson. Spam coming in onto the gun. It will go down. So no sniper heaven in Poseidon's hands right now.
Yeah, if you're Witness, I love stacking. Yeah, if you're Witness, I love stacking this because you force the defensive Uber out here. Like, the medic's gonna have to pop, and yeah, Billy Boy eats a headshot. Lenny's been on fire this round. Ever since he missed that drop-down shot, he's just been activating. And just like that, Jacob drops as well, so 2 down already for Dumb Kids. And because they rotate in, because they rotated into E to help regain control, it's free C for Witness.
Yep, and that's exactly how it works, right? The sins of the E players end up costing the C players, makes them rotate, and they end up giving up C. You know, you're kind of happy though, right? C is like your extra life when you're holding on defense. You'd much more rather make a mistake on E and give up C to make up for it, rather than overcommit and lose B in the process. Brian, though, with the SV onto Lenny, but more importantly, the Uber's coming out onto E right now. Melon not able to fully stuff the E corridor. Everyone hold up in the back corner.
Tuke and Triple are going to be key players here. They have upper control, but look at this. Kira eats a headshot. Brian's taking down that demo man. Eerie dead as well. And this should be a collapse onto D, trying to clean up these players. A lot of flame damage coming in, and there's Tuke with the cleanup. Ashley, Fish, Flank, all going down to this big heavy man. Will go down at the end of it, but D has been defended, which is very big for the defense because you need to be able to get out into E here to support these Heaven players. And just like that, we have a setup finally for Carson here, has Brian supporting him, and there will be at least some foothold held by Dumb Kids.
Yeah, it can be very difficult, too, to push that, go for that depth push when you have no presence on E, because it means everyone can just rotate over,
Jacob has
play
the
high ground and spawn.
Jacob has the call on the D-rotate, so they're going to look to walk in and fight it. Crump trying to span in, but there's a lot of players on him. Melon needs a headshot. Lily Boy going to trade in the meantime, but a big kill onto Kira and Poseidon, so this should be good for Dumb Kids right now.
Fish is just capping up under Tuke, making him walk out. Eerie, though, peeks a little bit too
Where's
far.
the team?
What
You have to help.
Gets sniped out by Lenny. It forces the Uber.
I feel like they should have just helped earlier. Dumb Kids, if they supported Tuke there, they probably don't even have to pop Uber because everyone was looking at it. He was a damage sponge there. But instead, 4 players go down. This repush is going to have to get it, but big stickies from Crumb. Gonna kill Kira and Lenny. Still have to give up D because you don't have players, but at least they will be able to set up on E here.
Yeah, see what the combo does. Looks like they made it back into spawn before the E door is shut, and rather than continuing to hold on E, they will be rotating over to Wishbone. Carson and Brian up in heaven. No real escape for them right now. So, Brian accidentally took the teleporter that he has in an escape up there, but the gun's gonna go down. Yeah, they're gonna catch Brian off of that. Uber popped out. Yeah, they'll get the gun. They'll get heaven control. That is, you know, Blake doesn't have quite yet because of the uneven Uber pops. So they're going to go for the cap, but they have to be wary of this Uber.
Yeah. It's going to look to come in through Wishbone here. Billy Boy eats a headshot. Teleporter goes down, so that is pretty good out of Jacob, but they have to get on. Okay, and we are live. Alto's be right back real quick, but I am here casting you guys the start of the DK offense here. It ended up being a 6:15 time for Witness Gaming to go all the way around the world. So Dumb Kids got to beat 6:15. It's the fastest time that either team has set on offense so far, but definitely not out of their own possibility for Dumb Kids to close things out here. And it looks like we have a fast combo presence coming into Stairwell, trying to dislodge this heavy, but there's a lot of people up top, and they get a lot of damage onto Ashley, but Ashley not popping yet, down to 40 HP, will be just fine coming through onto this B defense. Meanwhile, in the back,
right,
Wishbone
thanks for taking that, Zach.
Yeah, Wishbone control going to be held by the side of Dumb Kids, trying to get the sentry gun set up in behind. It does stay up, so the rest of Witness Game have to go fight B, and Uber Exchange is going to be coming in just a moment.
And I will note, too, I mean, I don't know if Carson has the exit telly back here.
Jacob has upper. Teleporter's dead. Yeah, now Tuke has control of upper, so you got to move back.
Guns and up Billy Boy.
Billy Boy forces
sapped already.
Yeah. On B, Billy Boy forces the Uber, and they get the kill into Blank as well, which means full Uber for Blake and co. They're going to be able to take B with this, or at least get the defense off of the front gates here. Tuke still has control of upper. He has 2 HP, but, you know...
Eerie and Poseidon going down when they are already down Uber could be disastrous. Yeah, they gave up the Uber to clear out the flank presence, but real big of him to stay alive and to get those 2 kills. Jacob's already starting off the cap. I'd like to see some sort of pressure here just to get the Uber forced out of Blake so you're not able to snowball off of that, but they might not even have an angle there.
Yeah, and off of those kills, Witness Gaming, or DK rather, are going to be able to cap up on V here in a very fast push. 2 minutes for 2 points is definitely what you want to see if you're looking to close things out. Right now we see Witness trying to hold on to Wishbone here. They have sticks on top. It's kind of hard to get through here if you are DK. They're going to look to force their way through with an air blast and some heavy, some Fist of Steel. And Tuke's going to get through, going to be able to scope things out. The rest of the team now following up onto C. Jacob caught out, so not able to find anything on
There's
Depot.
only one health. Jacob almost got the kill there. Sandwich comes out.
Got a
so
sandwich,
back up
stay
to full,
healthy. Now, there was an Uber out for a DK here, but they weren't actually able to get in on time. Ashley going to be able to pop that Uber out in retaliation. Carson, the only casualty so far, off somewhere else. And now they're going to try and rotate back into Wishbone. They're trying to stay in, but Crump is just dead. Kira and Eerie do a great job on the front line. But look at this up top. Billy Boy and Triple coming in, getting big cleanup onto Ashley and Eerie. Blake cleans up Fish, and they're going to have a lot of respawns to work with here.
I was just about to say, these C gates have been open. Why is no one on DK utilizing them? And as I think that Billy Boy comes in, finds the kill on to Ashley, makes sure Blake continues to have ad. Like, he's basically had all round. Blake even getting on the fragging action. I think that's his third kill on the Fish thus far. 3-0 in the Med V Spy. And C is empty. The spawner's just now coming back in, but they're not able to walk out.
They're
the
giving it
walk
up.
and Brian
They're
up on
leaving.
Cliff. They have to give it up, yeah.
Yeah, Witness Gaming leaving, giving DK that C point, and Blake with a 50% ad. If you are Jacob here, you definitely want to look to call this ad, because this is something you can just push straight through Death Hallway with and look to cap up D. If you cap D with 2 minutes left on the clock, you got to imagine it's somewhat of a foregone conclusion.
Looks like Death is not the call, though. They're rotating back into Wishbone. Gonna try to find
They got Eerie and
he
Blake.
push right off the bat. And dude, Brian already dead. I don't like this.
Yeah, Kira is doing so much damage. Crump
Blake is
dies
so
as well.
hurt. There's a dot on him. No! When he finds the drop. What was the plan there?
I really don't like that. Yeah, I mean, you had Uber at least pop the Uber and jump people into heaven or something, but really they just ended up bleeding out. And granted, they have faster respawns, but their advantage and their position is just all gone. So gonna have to reset from full in the lobby, 2 minutes now left on the clock at full Uber disad. So, you know, things have completely flipped. Witness Gaming now looking strong on this defense to keep holding. Carson and Jacob looking to get some heals right now, see if they can get forward, get some presence. Jacob trying to enforce with the gun. I like it a lot, but needs a bit more help. They will get that scepter gun down at the end.
Yeah, if you're afraid of taking even an ad through Death, you're not going to have to convince me twice. It's named that for a reason, but you got to at least use the Uber when you get it full. Like,
yeah, you
they're
can't
trying
drop
to
two
push
people
long.
the sticky bombs with Uber, then, you know, drop the sniper eventually.
Oh, and there's
Trump's dead
Lenny
again.
just rolling off one after another, taking shots in from heaven.
That's a good one.
Yep, Brian getting Kira, but you're still down your demo. And there's another one from Brian, though, so numbers starting to flip. Those defense spawns are so long. Duke able to make it onto point now. Brian can't take the shots as freely. They will force the Uber out. Ashley uses it in exchange. They will drop Duke, though. Crump getting the better end of this Uber. Blake coming in to catch Triple.
They're
but the
committed
gun
to E,
is
by
not.
the way. They have to stay on E this entire time. It's 1 minute left on the clock. Jumps into heaven, trying to take down the heavy, but Eerie stands tall, takes down Billy Boy, and maintains control. Crump that as well. It's like Crump has been on a respawn timer for the past minute. Big kill onto Blue from Brian, looking to get some presence, but they really have to start stacking cap.
Yep, Duke doing his best to get on it, take presence. Erie's in heaven, but they know
He's been
he's
here
there.
for so long. Triple
sending
looking to take
Triple
care
in.
of them. Oh, that
Oh,
was
he
so
can't
close.
finish off the kill. Yeah, Scout's gonna stay
That shot's
alive.
big. Got him
They're
stick off
coming
the
over
door.
in favor of DK right now. They're getting good cap
Look
time.
at
This
level
is
3
on
though.
track.
Level 3 right now for Witness Gaming, or for DK rather, in main. That's going to buy a lot of space, but they need more cap time. It's 20 seconds left.
He found a number of kills, but yeah, Crump had so many people with him. Now he's all alone. Will be the meta
looks
that's also
good.
getting on for ×3. This is gonna come down to the wire. Blank. If they get the Scout on, someone's gonna need to block. They find Triple. Crump goes down.
5 seconds. They need to stack
It's
it.
just a med. You need more people
3,
on it.
2,
Here come the reinforcements. It's
1.
not gonna be enough.
It's a Witness Gaming win. We are tied up.
I thought they had that. I really thought they had that. The level 3 was gonna be enough. They had the bodies on it. I think people were almost going like too selfless, trying to be like, I'll be the one to die in their spawn to hold people off from stopping our cappers. And
I mean,
too many people did that. They just didn't have. At one point, it was just
It was
Blake
just the
alone
medic.
on cap.
Yeah, but credit has to go to Kira and Eerie. Eerie stayed alive in heaven for so long. He got jumped by a soldier. He had a sniper dot on him the entire time. Managed to draw so much attention, do so much damage. Eerie is like a hidden MVP of that last defense. And also Kira. At the end, he rolled out through Lunchbox, I believe, and launched so much damage. Or I think it was main, but like he didn't peek. He just launched stickies at the correct angle onto the point and did so much damage. The reason why the point ended up getting vacated at the end and only Blake was left standing on it is because they just DK couldn't stand on there. Kira nuked all of them in half HP, and then they have to get on Kira. He's going to stay there. And then right when Kira has to block point, he jumps onto the point, does a bit more damage, and helps stall with the rest of his team just enough. So, I mean, Kira and Eerie clutching up at the end there in a situation that really came down to milliseconds.
Yeah, and I mean, don't want to, I do have to address the elephant in the room. If it came down to it that close, with Blake having one of the more confusing Uber drops I've seen recently. He still went 2-1 again, by the way.
That's so
really
funny.
That's really his first death, but, looking at the logs, we mentioned the spy. Jacob, his turn to have the...
the KD is literally swapped.
The 3 and 10 plus KD right there, as Fish is another one getting a little bit more on the scoreboard. Kira, as you mentioned, great game, almost topping Took, getting a lot of kills as well. I think a lot of those he got on the defense on the first, doing a lot of work there, but ultimately Lenny gets, outperforming Brian there. I'm still concerned for Witness, though, because it was that close with Blake throwing away an Uber.
It's slightly concerning, that's for sure. At the end of the day, Steel is Steel. They're 1-1 on it. As long as they find some way to win the next round, you will not have to think about it ever again. So from that perspective, if they can clutch out another round like that, they probably won't care in what fashion they do it. And the fact is that we saw it happen just now, even when things went again, even when they get handed a favor, right? The ability to put on the 6-minute time, we haven't seen either of these teams push sub 6 minutes yet, by the way. And at the end there, where DK skipped D because they were forced to, that's the only time we've not seen a full around the world. And it was as close as you can get with like one D skip when you're forced to at the very end. So the teams have played a very standard Steel where both rounds have gotten to like a 15-second difference, right? So that makes me think that someone is going to try something crazy here in this round 3 for a knockout punch.
I'd love to see it. I mean, I think... What do I think? I'm not given a lot of faith that this is Witness Gaming's first pick. I don't think they're good enough at the map to warrant it. And if they ended up picking this over Upward, I'm beginning to have some concerns. Ultimately, though, right, those concerns are just that. They only need to win on the 2 stopwatches here. If they're able to pull it out, I think you're going to be... They're still perfectly fine. I do think, though, that what I... as I've been thinking about it, right, you see ABE and really even ACE, or ABCE, right, what DK was forced to do there towards the end. Less rarely, because it's not a good push, it's a response, right? The only time you don't plan to push ABE, the only time you do it is when the enemy team happens to wipe on B and you have an opportunity, right? These teams aren't giving up the opportunity, so it's not going to happen. One of the pushes you can do, though, is sending Beam towards E. And I'm honestly pretty surprised that 4 offenses in, we haven't seen a medic even attempt to bait an A to E once.
Yeah, I mean, the teams have just been playing a very conservative Steel, is what it is. No one has really gone for these all-or-nothing plays, because while there are benefits, obviously, the downside is that if your AE goes off the rails, you've wasted 1.5 minutes to 2 minutes. And in a match that has come down to 15 seconds in both rounds, that could just be, the grave. That could be the loss locked in right there. So no one... I don't want to say they're playing scared, because it's not necessarily that you're scared to do it. It's just that you feel like the game is more stable in a winning position if you play normal. And that's what we've gotten from both teams, which makes me like, well, I hope that someone has some like kind of knockout strat here that they've been saving for a moment like this. I feel like both of them are also going to be content to play the same. I mean, we've seen a round go either way. We've seen disaster strike on both teams. We've seen good plays and clutches from both teams. It's Steel, like how much are you really willing to gamble on the surprise AE when things have been so close so far?
Fortune favor.
Your anecdote got cut out.
Go over a bit, and I pulled the plug on it. I was going to say fortune favors the bold. I feel like DK does not have a reason to. I think if I'm Witness Gaming, I'm happy I won the round, but I'm also cognizant of it that I think by and large DK have been the better team thus far on Steel.
I'd say that's fair. Witness Gaming did pull off a 6-15 offense, which is the best offense we've seen up to this point. From a consistency standpoint, it feels like DK have made less mistakes overall. It's just the one mistake they made was the worst of all of them so far, and it did cost them the round, basically.
Yeah, and that's something that to me that felt very out of character, right? I was zoomed in. Blake was standing on the fence to the left of the first E forward spawn, hugging the post with a dot on his shoulder, trying to not get body shot. And he did, because a medic is wider than that post. Anytime a player like Blake ends up in that situation, something's gone heinously wrong. And if I'm Witness Gaming, I am not betting that's going to happen again.
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to assume the enemy team is going to make a mistake. At the end of the day, capitalizing on them is what makes a good team. So, I mean, when it comes down to it, like, it's been the theme of the cast so far. We really don't know what's going to happen. And even, like you said, where if Witness Gaming only needs to win stopwatches here, even if they lose Steel, even if they can't get upward on the board, Product has been a coin flip so far in the season. The teams are 1-1 on it in matches. And we've not even seen Asheville. So, like, it really feels like, at this point, both us and the teams are kind of throwing stuff at the wall, and that, like, they're going to play their games, they're going to try their best, and at the end of the day, the team that's going to play better in the moment is going to be winning. I've not seen anything that differentiates the two teams overwhelmingly to this point on Steel.
Not overwhelmingly, but I think it's been enough subtle instances of just DK being a little bit more solid, everything going according to their plan, controlling the pace of play a little bit more, that again, if I'm Witness Gaming, I'm thinking, what can we do to overcome that? Because as you said, you can't rely on that mistake. It's butterfly effect means we'll never know for sure, right? But given how close that cap was, if they had 10% more cap time off of Blake getting that Uber off, we're already on Product.
Yeah, at the end of the day, shoulda, coulda, woulda. Hindsight is 2020. I mean, these teams are going to be talking a lot, and we've had two very long halftimes so far. We're still in the break, waiting for this third round of Steel to come up, but like, everything is on the line here, and it's so clear that this can go either way, that these teams are going to do everything in their power to game plan, to talk about their plays, to make the game happen, to make the plays happen, that it's just going to be, I'm really feeling that we're going to go like all the way. I do not see a 2-0 like us being done in this Grand Finals future. If it does happen, that'd be kind of disappointing with how close they've been. I don't think we've seen a Grand Finals give us this much tension off the bat almost ever.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, I really don't see the 2-0 because I think that Witness got really lucky winning Product last week. I think that Brian, despite his good performance, was kind of coming in on an off week, and I think that they had enough things go right that they were able to eke out that win. Watching Brian on Product yesterday, well, so Zag, for reference, right? It was a 4-1 on Product. It was actually the exact same round score as the first time DK and Rib played each other, except that the 4-1 on Product was 4 rounds of Rib getting dominated, and then 1 round Cosmic and I'm brain farting on who Rib's sniper was, Mujet, were just Brian did not play the game for a single round. Alternated between getting stabbed on spawning and headshot the second he peeked, and they had a flawless round in there. But, you know, that happens once, right? I don't think you're going to be able to shut Brian down to that degree, and I think he's looked pretty solid on Steel thus far on a map that's not traditionally a great sniper map for fragging. You know, impact kills, yes. Fragging, not always. So I'm not super happy if I go into product down a map.
Yeah, I mean, you're never going to be happy going in to map 2, I guess map 3, down a map that you feel like you should have won, right? Because both these teams at this point are going to feel like Steel is theirs to win. Witness maybe a bit less so, but at the same time, this is their map pick. They probably feel like they should be winning. They probably feel like they're making mistakes, and they see these mistakes that, you know, we're seeing probably more than anyone, because they're the one experiencing it in the server. Things are not going according to their plan, and when they get bailed out, they probably feel, you know, they feel some relief, but at the same time, they still want to get this on the board more than anything, so... And we'll see if they can do it. Witness Gaming starting out this third round on defense here. Dumb Kid's going to be looking to set their own pace. They did this in round 1 with an around the world of about 650. So will they look to try and mirror that performance, or do they think that they should try for something special, something unexpected?
Yep, we will have to see. The one more thing I want to say on the map pick, though, is that, to me, if I'm Witness, you gotta feel that DK in this slower around the world playstyle is the better team, right? And that to me serves as your justification to, at least when you're on offense, try something a little bit different. You can't pick Steel as first in Grands and not be confident about the possibility of going AE.
I guess that's true, yeah. If it's your map pick, you have to be ready for the possibility. Look at this aggressive position by Lenny. He's going to the stairwell. Yeah, he's gonna play up top. There's crit. Were there crit sticks in the previous round? I don't remember there being crit sticks.
Possible. They did a pretty good job clearing them, I'm pretty sure. Fish is just waiting.
I like the spot. Not everyone will expect it. Like, he'd have a heavy pick if he went now, but obviously you don't want to go now. Hey,
He gets out!
That's stupid. I like that. That breaks the tension a little bit. As
Freeze frame, window scratches. You're probably wondering how I got into this situation. Eerie's snooped out of upper though. Jake already has a telly sapped as well. No one can get up there.
Grumpus is dead though. That's a really bad jump from him. And 2 gets nuked as well. They have a soldier bomb in. They're trying to get the force. Ashley holding on one and drops. I can't believe Billy Boy found that rocket around that railing, and he gets the drop onto that Witness medic.
Yeah, I mean, I can totally understand Ashley's perspective there, right?
You
cannot force there. You need to rely on your team to kill the soldier. Enough things went terribly wrong.
Yeah, like Crump died before he got a sticky off, right? Like, that sack should not work on solo soldier.
This has to be attack. I need this to be attack.
This has to be attack.
All right, now Dolphin, tell us who crashed.
Yeah, someone definitely crashed.
Okay, it's lagging. No one tacks. Invite grand finals and no one's tacking.
All right. I mean, okay, so with that drop, Dumb Kids have ball in their court, right? They can force onto the sentry gun anytime in the next, 30 seconds. They'll be overwhelmingly in the advantage. I don't see a Jacob anywhere nearby to sap the gun, so the gun's gonna... Actually, no, he is. They should, yeah. Jacob's gonna go up top and get the sap here, and then the Uber's gonna come in, and Dumb Kids are going to take pretty much all of the front side presence. The question is, can they get enough kills or space by herding Witness into their spawn that they're able to get the B cap off it? Because if you look at the other side of the map, the gates aren't... Oh, the gates are open, but the players for Dumb Kids aren't actually in deep enough to be a factor on a fast Uber exchange, which is what they probably want to do. Because if you look at their combo, Blake is out of spawn. Blake is running up with his team in main, and they want to pop Uber the second Jacob's ready to sap this gun. They want to go fast. So you only have a front side force right now because Wishbone's not set up yet. They have to get kills here. They have to get space with only a front side force. It's not the easiest thing to do when you're walking uphill, but this is their game plan after that drop, so they're going to go for it. And this is going to be a big indicator of whether or not they actually improve on their average time.
Yeah, and I mean, this is where you gotta be careful too, because as we saw from last night, Zag, it was Vigil. You can probably guess what happened to start off the map. And
which medic got nuked?
Both of them. But what we found out is that having a full ad pushing second is not as much of a guarantee as you may think. And actually, it almost felt like the opposite, where a lot of the times the first hold would go poorly. Teams would push in with an ad, probably get overconfident because it's, oh, we've got full ad, we can push. Then have a really crappy Uber and not get anything versus, there was one time I thought the forward holds actually pulled off really well. Team gets their gun out, team gets the med out, and then offense pulls off like a perfect sack, forces the Uber, and then converts on the ad. So all that is to say, right, when teams are kind of given ads like this, I don't think they always play at their best. So this reminder that this pause is also 90 seconds in the future. So the teams would have already taken this Uber already. They don't, they're not talking about what the Uber is going to be right now. But I think it's going to be a good test of how solid DK is if they're able to convert on this.
Yeah, and since the wishbone setup isn't ready for DK, and this is an entirely frontside push, I want to put extra emphasis on Tatuk here. He is aggressive into upper right now, and he's the furthest forward person on his team. Right now, Lenny is hard scoped on lower. Two can right click around the corner with that Tommy and take Lenny to half HP and force him off. And no one is actually ready for Took to peek upper. If you look at everyone on Witness, they're all looking at lower. Every single person. The only person who might see Took is Eerie, but he can't do anything to him at this range. So if Took is able to peek out...
Look at Lenny's angle right now.
Yeah, he's aimed at lower, but it probably doesn't matter because Dumb Kids are going to pop around the corner, right? They don't want to take any sticky damage.
You'd like to think that, wouldn't you?
Jacob gets this sap, Took peeks upper, the gun dies instantly, the sniper gets spammed off the angle. This should be favorable for DK. Like you said, nothing's guaranteed, and sometimes Uberat is deceptive. The position is more important. But, I mean, things are looking good. Like, they have full upper control. No one on Witness is, like, close to stall things out. Uber to sad, gun in position to get sapped. It's looking good for DK.
That it is. So, yep, we will have to see here. If I think now, feels like that was the point where we've exhausted our pause talk.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, yeah,
Grand
really,
finals, woo!
As you mentioned, yeah, really not too much cooking on flank right now, right?
Yeah,
it's worth noting, Billy Boy is in the B tunnel right now, whipping out the team, trying to get Zuber out faster, but Gun is just set up on A, Triple is on A, looking towards drop down, so may try to come in there. I honestly wouldn't hate if he just went around through E to try to get a flank and maybe clean people up in the inevitable post fight. You're playing Scout, I think you can get away with that.
Yeah, I like that play. I'd rather he go flank than drop down.
Side, and actually, I closed out the stream when I was lagging before, but I want to pull it back up again to see, does Poseidon does not have any banner charge. Okay, that's good to note. Well, Zag, fit check?
I mean, we got some nice looking eyes on the screen right now.
Sidon's got the Hypno eyes on, which I'm a big fan of. Kira does too.
Oh, here we go.
There we go.
Pause. All right, here we go. Jacob sap on the gun. Two peek him upward. Sapper taken off by Omrecker, but it's still dead anyway. And Melon follows shortly after. Right now, trying to herd all these players back into the main. Billy Boy has a good bomb angle. Going to be looking to get back and go again. Fish is dead, so no spy available in the backline. And Lenny looking for a shot, but gets spammed off by Crump. And that's exactly what you wanted to see. Dumb Kids now have the point, and actually, crucially, no Uber. So if you are Witness Gaming, you got to give it up, and they're just going to leave.
Yeah, Blake didn't even use yet, did he?
He still has. They didn't use.
Yeah.
That's perfect. That is as perfect as you like from DK. The sap into the peak, into the spam, and they just get straight in.
Yeah, you'd really like to see the Uber get forced out there if you're...
Oh, huge fucking sticky trap. Takes down Billy Boy and Fuzzy. They're going to pop anyway, but they're down 2 on the combo. It's going to be Triple and Blake and Crump only. Triple finds Melon, but that's really it.
Get everyone down in hell. Poseidon and Blake trying to collapse in. Took will get taken out. Bit of a split fight. Brian and Carson now coming in onto the cliff. Level 3 just dropped down as a peace offering.
Poseidon is trying to fight up top, but there's a pyro in his face. That's not favorable for the soldier, and just burns out. can't get healed, then it's just Demo and Medic here left on
Okay,
C. No one else to help
Ashley's
them.
playing here with Uber with everyone above them. They're just going to use here, but
They should leave. They have to leave.
I think they were afraid of getting sniped on the back out, so I can see it. Fuzzy tries to dead jump back up the cliff, ends up blowing himself up. Soldiers see that on occasion. Pyro's not so often.
Jacob has a great decloak and has a sniper pick to boot. That's a huge one to go forward. Gonna be able to get out too, so still gonna be a nuisance. Here comes Upper. Kira gets sniped out. Spy gonna get seen and taken down.
Got it. This is a give.
Yeah, this is a give for sure. Has Blake even used Uber? Yeah, he used once.
Yes.
My thing's still on bug. But yeah, he's up around 90 already, so Dumb Kids have Uber again. They're looking very good here.
I don't actually think I know when he popped the Uber out.
It was, which one?
Yeah, again, though, they're going to elect to not go death. The Heaven setup is in full swing. Pyro up there as well as the gun. Triple takes Blank out on the flank right now as I hear a banner coming out. That is from the defense, which means they don't have to worry about the sniper nearly as much. Can play wide, disregard, or at least disrespect. Bryant angles that gun on the forward spot. Finally goes down. Jacob on the decloak. Hasn't been caught out yet.
High D presence right now from the combo and flank of Dumb Kids. They have enough spam plasm that they force the Uber. Blake comes in, tries to save his demo man, and gets a lot of value out of it. Crump going to be throwing Sticky straight to that spawn door. Decontest coming here late from Witness. They need to get onto the point here, otherwise they're sacking in for nothing. They are going to get the kills. Billy Boy, Triple, and Crump are going to go down. Couple kills still firing off. It's only 3 alive for Dumb Kids and Witness Gaming. Barely make that one work, but they hold off on D.
Ryan, however, found the shot onto Ashley at the end of that. Gonna take Lenny out as well. They're able to hold D for the time being, but now they're down a medic. Only just spawning up. Their sniper's still on 10 seconds.
They're committing their demo onto
rotated
E. Yeah, they committed demo onto E, so Crump can be launching stickies into spawn here. The question is the Witness combo. Can they get in here and stop the cap? They are going to be putting Kira through, spamming sticks through the window. It does a lot of damage, and Crump is nuked, but Kira's dead in exchange. Brian getting the headshot. Billy Boy dead in the back to the Blue Walrus Frontier Justice. And with Blake going down to that headshot out of Lenny, Witness Gaming gets to fighting.
Yep, got the arrow onto Tuke as Blake's last breath, but they will be able to clear that out. Really big headshots coming in from the red sniper right now. Lenny had been a little bit quiet thus far this round. Finally starting to hope maybe come active a bit. Witness Gaming could not be happier.
Oh, with stab out of Fish. He will mention Dead Ringer out the safety for now, but it looks like now the bulk force of Dumb Kids is going to be looking to go back into D. I kind of don't like that they hard committed E instead of, baiting E and trying to cap D, because D still had like 75% cap time.
No. But they were wrapping through spawn, but they're still in lobby
Billy
right
Boy's
now.
in death, fighting a scout. They do know he's there, though, so he can't really make any ground himself. And this is just such a hard push to make. Uber gets forced out, thanks to Tuke peeking in up top, and good kiting from Dumb Kids means they're going to be out of dodge here pretty well. But Blake dead, burned out by Melon, gets in there just in time, and I feel like Blake's movement there was not very good.
Well, I think Melon surfed a sticky into him, so hard to account for that. When you've got a pyro flying at you at 80 miles an hour. And the rest of with the the med down, it's just everyone get in, try to do what you can. And I mean, Witness Gaming starting to really stabilize this defense here. Looked like they may have had to have given up D, but they clutch out the hold. And even with Ashley going down, they're able to get that ad back. A lot of momentum now down the drain, and a lot of time, more importantly, for DK. Have to imagine you're already at 6, maybe 7 minutes thus far.
Yeah, and with that time stretching on more and more, things get a lot harder for Dumb Kids, because keep in mind, the ball's going to be in Witness's court. If you give them a 7-minute time, they've shown extreme comfort in pushing sub-7.
Beside him right as he bannered. That could be big.
The headshot to Kira is just as big. With Melon getting mowed down, that should be D as forfeit. They will at least trade onto Crump and Billy, so no explosive classes for these choke points, but you gotta imagine with these long spawn timers for the defense, D is forfeit. It's just a matter of if Dumb Kids can get onto E and start making some presence.
They're going to get the gun out of heaven as well. Blue rebuilding. Uber coming back in. Yep. They're going to get the kill onto Tuke, but that may be it. Now better Uber popping in from the offense. Eerie and Ashley both going down. Not able to make it back into spawn. Finally, the break that DK has been looking for thus far. Fish will buy some time, able to DR back out to spawn. But D is going to be a foregone conclusion. E going to be the next focus. Just now, some of the combos spawning up, moving out towards the C point. Gonna have to clear out Wishbone and take the fight from there.
Already 7-10 on the clock. Witness Gaming have really recovered on this defense here, and now looking to get as many seconds as they can out. Meanwhile, Dumb Kids stacking that point with a 4x. Got a heavy and upper, got Billy in lower. They will be trying to get this point off without any more hitches. Lenny goes down early, is going to definitely help, and so will Melon.
Quite so, and the cap time just edging up. No one's able to really get in. Flu, Blank, both going to go down. This will be the cap coming through. 740 overall. Not what we saw in that first half. So bookending our steel halves with these 740 times. But if I'm Witness Gaming, I'm going to be pretty happy about that.
We might see a steel game where of a total 30 possible points, 29 of them got capped.
Wait, no, it had to have been less though, right? Because haven't the second team to push not capped in both halves?
Oh yeah, -2.
So 27, yeah.
27.
Yeah, that is a good point though. I mean, I think a lot of it though is that a lot of those fast caps are reactions to defensive miscues, and we haven't had enough of those to warrant any fast pushes. I'm a little disappointed because I feel like this time is going to be enough that Witness is going to play this straight. Maybe not go for any A to E shenanigans, which I'd love to see, but who knows?
I mean, if they get hard stuck on B, then you might have to, but from what we've seen, these teams are very comfortable with around the worlds, so that is in all likelihood what Witness's game plan is going to be to get that win on the board and go up 2-0 in the grand finals. So we'll see if they can do it. Gates have dropped.
Yep. Do we see anything interesting? Meds still in spawn, no, immediate A pressure. Guns out on the point.
Back.
Yep.
Yeah, everything looks normal right now. These teams have been playing a very standard textbook steel game, so I don't expect with a 740 time, I don't expect Witness to do anything crazy off the bat here. We do see now Brian taking a peek into lower, seeing if he can get a pick off, but doesn't want to overcommit and need a headshot himself, so we'll back up for now. No sniper in the drop down coming through. Melon dead, but Tuke gets a headshot in the meantime. That's going to be a pretty big entry pick for Witness.
Flew right past the spawn, no need to go around for any elaborate flank. Gun dropped down in Wishbone, not the first time we've seen, but will be the last tonight one way or another. As still nothing really happening. Tuke being dead, I think, they haven't gotten the...
Brian looks at
yet.
behind, headshots beside has to go get the pack and lunchbox. In the meantime, Melon is an upper, looks to take that teleporter down and does get it, but Eerie coming in support. Yeah, and Eerie supports. Jacob, a really good pick onto Lenny. In the meantime, Uber coming through upper right now. Counter pop out from Dumb Kids, looking to keep all their players healthy, and Centrigun stays alive. Crucially, no sap available from Fish. He will go in now, but he doesn't get the sap, and Gun's full HP. Things are not looking good for this push so far.
Also, well, maybe no, not full HP is the gun, and Wishbone behind. It's going to be enough to take out Duke. It starts drawing pressure back. However, the level 3 for Carson is still up and full, so it buys enough time for a lot of the players on B to go, help clear out Wishbone, send the blue rats behind them scattering back into the shadows. Conch just got popped by Poseidon walking into Wishbone.
He's very low though, he can't fight anymore. He has to back all the way up and get help from his
He's
team.
on the Conch, he could drain tank off him if he gets another rock.
Jacob, another stab to Lenny is massive, and he lives. Meanwhile, the rest of the combo rotating back in. We see Sniper, Brian scoped up, looking to find a pick onto Eerie, and Banner out now for Billy Boy. Stab coming onto Brian, crucial for Fish here, but can they actually get space against the Battalions? Bomb from Billy, looking for Ashley, doing some damage, but Melon with the deny. Billy is going to be not long for this world, can't jump out, and now Witness Gaming advance.
Duke chasing all the way into E. Poseidon did not see the heavy coming in as the exchanges, come out on B. Lots of ground for the offense. Yeah, Kira getting dropped. Tuke will go down as well, though. This level 1 from Carson getting built up.
Eerie is the big focus here, and he's taken down immediately. Scout trying to dip and dodge. Triple doing a really good job making space. Gets the kill onto Melon, and now it's just Lenny on the front line.
Fish stabs the gun, but no one's really in position to follow up on. Not going to be able to get any kills. Buys enough time, though. Lenny gets the kill onto Crump. The rest of the team now with those fast
Blank. That's a big fight, and Blank wins it despite Triple having more HP. So now Wishbone completely free. Cap coming in for Witness Gaming. I mean, 3 minutes off the clock for Dumb Kids, not too bad, but now you're find
Kira's already got 6 on the Seagate. Oh, they know, and they're just going out east. He's already given up.
Yeah, so
you're
now
going to be looking at 4 minutes for DE here.
Yeah, I mean, it's not an easy task, especially with these spawn timers getting longer and with the bridges now dropping in favor of Witness. So Witness, a really clean snowball all the way through those ending picks they get, able to keep the pressure off enough that they just walk in for free and keep their Ubers. So now Witness Gaming, they have the chance to do whatever they want here, and it looks like they're going to go with the rotation back to Wishbone. Probably want to dislodge the Heaven setup.
Yeah.
Big stab.
Yeah, really big. Just
Doming.
gonna lets them play out really wide, as you said. Yeah, the Dom coming through. It's been pretty much all off of this offense, I'm pretty sure. Looks like death, though, is going to be the call. Jacob trailing behind, giving comms on this. This is not going to catch anyone by surprise. Melon caught by surprise by ear triple in the spawn shutter. As the Uber pops out, they drop in, and oh, they knock Ashley up. Gonna just Ashley just get
It's
him
not
bounced
good
away.
at all. Oh my god, they get mulched in death, and that's why that hallway is called what it is. Witness Gaming get pretty much have a full combo wipe. Granted, they are back up very quickly. Spawn timers are very fast for offense on Steel once you cap up C, and because they popped Uber at the same time, it's pretty much even Ubers, so not too bad. You still have 3 minutes on the clock, but, you know, that's one less mistake you can make for Witness.
Yeah, exactly thus. So one less mistake. You still have some time. You know, Ashley on 30, gonna probably have another 2, hopefully 3 Ubers if she's able to stay
Spy the
alive.
pit.
They jump
Spy
in,
fish.
fish, yep. Sacrifice to the pit god. Brian directly onto Lenny, though. And this D offense is suddenly looking like it's losing its legs. Ashley trying to get healed, but just runs into the sideline and died. Not a great play. A lot of bodies, though. still
Headshot from
in
Melon is huge, though. No one can deny the spam anymore, and Brian will get taken down. Kira finds a well-placed sticky, but with no medic,
They're
the health
so
is not
hurt,
good.
but
I
there's
feel
no
you have
one
to contest
stopping
this.
them.
I feel you have to contest this. Fuzzy's gonna walk into Sticky's good air blast, but no Uber means no contest. They're so low. They're gonna try, and they're gonna get it. Jacob gets 2. And they're gonna defend D. That is so crucial for the side of Dumb Kids. Can they get enough players alive to stabilize?
I'm very thankful for Jacob there because that push did not deserve to go through, but it almost did off of just the tenacity of Witness Gaming players. Ultimately, you know, losing so many key players early is going to make it too difficult. Lenny's able to take the gun down though, which means E is now open for business. Poseidon getting forward takes control of Heaven. E not
Lobby
getting
Rat.
tapped.
Lobby
Yep.
Rat coming through from defense here, but
Fish
Spy's
finds
on them.
Crump.
Yeah, Fish gets a big stab there. Now Sentrion, no one can really do damage to it. They're triple gonna chase through to try and get some kills. They get Flu and the Sentry Gun out of it, but look at this, the team's just swapped position. Yeah, and that favors Witness Gaming because they get D for free off it. A minute 45 on the clock, and Dumb Kids are very separated. They have to regroup and find some kills here.
Yeah, they're gonna have to just probably go back in. No, I thought they're gonna choose to push through lobby, but they're choosing
It's
to
already
go back
5x
around.
for so long.
They want to take this through DE, but the Fury up in Heaven's going to make this so nasty. Uber's popped out. Carson dead. Duke going to be next. Now Blake forced to kite into lobby. They're not going to get any kills, but they're just buying time. That's all they need.
Yeah, all they need is the space, and it's a masterful move by Witness Gaming to re-wrap the lobby Uber. Great pick out of Fish onto Crump. They can't get damage down. It's just only one kill that Uber. The re-wrap is free D. You split up the defense, and at the end of the day, Witness Gaming outmaneuvering Dumb Kids to take Steel 2-1.
Yep, it looked a little bit dicey for them at times, but they're able to come through. They take their own first pick, and with that, they're already on match point.
Yeah, championship point.
Yeah, season point. That's how this this map ad works. It's 2 maps up for them, none for DK. So product upward and Asheville, the gauntlet is set for Dumb Kids. That's what they're gonna have to win back to back to back if they want to take this. And the benefit for them is they are moving on to their map pick on product.
Yeah, and I mean, Steel really could have gone either way. That was chaotic throughout the entire time. The teams played very structured, but you never knew who would come out on top until the plays actually happened. And fittingly, we go on to product, which the teams are 1-1 on in match score this season. Overall, they are what, 7-8? No, 7-6, something like that. 7-7, 7-6, something like that. But yeah, I mean, product has been very back and forth with both these teams. Steel was. So, I mean, we are a bit closer to finding out who's going to be taking this championship with Witness Gaming going up 2-0. But, you know, at the end of the day, it could go either way as we're going to move on to product. But, you know, we can get logs on the screen, talking about them for just a bit, but probably want to take a break in just a moment.
Yeah. Let's see what the stats have for us here. I'm just looking at the combined right now. I think most recent, and Blake went 5-4 and lost.
Overall, that's funny.
Three kills on Fish, one kill onto Lenny, one kill onto Triple. High value kills.
I mean,
won the Med v Spy, won the Med v Scout.
Witness Gaming won that with a medic dying 12 times to 4. That's kind of wild.
They were out fragged too throughout most of that, and it wasn't just coming in from the first half. They were consistently finding ways to win with less kills. Which if there's a map you're going to do that on, it's going to be Steel, right? You can get you can wipe as many times as you need to, but you get one well-timed combo pick, and that could be all the dominoes crashing down. But I don't think there's a whole lot to go off of there as we go into product because of just how evenly matched the teams were.
Yeah, the teams were super evenly matched. It was really a game of macro deciding it. Dumb Kids might have had that second round if they made a better decision on what they were trying to do on E with their Uber. And at the end of the day, the rotation from Witness Gaming is what got them the end over the finish line. So yeah, I don't think logs matter too much. One thing is, going into product, Brian has been heating up. Brian has been playing very well so far, all of Steel, and now he's going to be on the map that unleashes Sniper, so that has the potential to be very threatening. But before we talk more about that, we should go ahead and go to a short break while the teams load in, so don't go anywhere. We will be right back with the Invite Highlander Grand Finals continued.
Welcome back, gamers and gamettes, to the RGL.GG Invite Highlander Season 23 Grand Finals. We just watched Witness Gaming take a very hotly contested 2-1 steal to put themselves on season point over Dumb Kids. Now, however, we do move on to the Dumb Kids map on Koth Product, where they are going to have to avenge their demons of a week ago and take the 4 rounds here if they want their season to continue. They've got to run through the gauntlet, having lost that first map of winning 3 in a row. But if there's a map they're going to do it on, Product seems a good as spot as any. I am Alto, Zag by my side, Dolphin behind the camera, back with the continuation of this game. Zag, we've got everyone in the server. I imagine we'll probably get readied up before too long. Talk us into Product. What are you going to be looking for here from both teams?
I mean, it's if Brian can take over this game, that's a DK's best chance to extend us here. He was hot on Steel. He was hot last week on Product in the lower finals match, and whenever he is on, that is the engine that Dumb Kids need to start getting things going for themselves. If Witness Gaming want to shut down Brian, you need to be looking at Fish to have a good game. You need to be looking at Poseidon to be a very good distraction. You just need to see a lot of focus come down onto that enemy sniper. And I'm looking at Fish to be a big player because we know that Jacob can choose his focuses correctly. Fish had a couple really good picks, that ending one onto Crump at the end of Steel there, the one that sticks out in my mind. But some consistency out of Fish here to really help put Brian down and let his team kind of play Product more freely would be very appreciated from the side of Witness Gaming.
Absolutely, yeah. In my eyes, I think I'm thinking about, and granted you weren't here last night with the way Dumb Kids were playing, but I think Took has always been a bit of a kind of bellwether for this team, where if he's doing well, so is the rest of the team. We saw that in their match against when they played Witness on Product a week ago in the upper bracket finals, where Witness came out strong, I think, for the first 2 rounds. Then they start playing around Took a little bit more, and that's when DK really started to get back into the match. So I think he's going to be the one I'm looking on. He is a very much a gremlin who plays on the concrete side of the map, loves pushing forward here and getting space on the enemy concrete, shooting out behind a rock, really wiping those fights when he gets the opportunity to. So if he's able to do that and convert on those, I think it means there's a lot of things going to be going DK's way.
Another player I'm looking at who you don't normally talk about is, I'm looking at Fuzzy here. Because if I remember correctly, in the upper bracket finals, when these two teams played each other on Product, Fuzzy was quietly doing a ton of work. I think he ended up second fragging his team on Pyro in the half they won. I remember him having a ton of good scored shot, a ton of good reflects. So, I mean, Product is a map where Pyro can have a lot of value because of how aggressively the map is played. If the Pyro is able to properly deny walks and bombs at the right moments, it has a lot of quiet value in which that'll help your team win the game. But with that said, we are into Product here. Witness Gaming lead the series 2-0. Dumb Kids need the reverse sweep to start here on their map pick. We'll see how mid-fight goes.
Yep. Billy Boy coming in fast onto Cliff Blank on the chase. Billy just going right over the top, finds Ashley and Melon right off the bat. But on the flip side, Fuzzy, Brian, Crump, Carson all going down. So the med pick could be a good sign of things to come, but the combat classes on the side of Witness Gaming going to be all the better. And even without their medic, they are going to claim this mid. Blake, with that 60% ad, will be interesting to see how quickly they'll be able to re-push it. But for now, time in favor of Witness.
Yeah, Billy Boy comes in at the end and gets another kill. He had 3 kills on that mid-fight. And Duncan's got enough kills that Witness Gaming can't really forward hold, as we are into a very early pause here on product. It's probably attack. So, just going to be waiting for that one.
Yep, we will have to see. I mean, 90 seconds into the round, could not even be over. Maybe it's been 2 straight minutes of cap, and this is DK calling attack, but I'm not going to... Would not bet on it.
Yeah, and now the uphill battle for DK starts, because we saw one of these rounds play out in the upper bracket finals, where it was pretty much a enemy medic died and you lost mid for DK. We went on a Uber leapfrog that saw DK use Uber cap, Witness Gaming let him have it, Witness Gaming use Uber cap, DK let him have it. And at the end of the day, it favored the team that capped first, because Witness Gaming got their time low enough, they only needed one mistake to capitalize on, and Dumb Kids couldn't actually make up the time deficit. So that's the trajectory we're on right now. If the Ubers leapfrog like they did in that same spot 2 weeks ago. So we'll see if Dumb Kids have an answer, because they might find this very familiar, if they start getting on this leapfrog again.
Witness Gaming mumble lag is what we're getting in, so I have to see how long that takes to resolve.
Not very long.
Not very long, all right. A slow repush now coming in from DK. Brian taking aim up Valley, gonna rotate over. Lenny finds
That's
Jacob.
a full kill, yeah. That's not a dead
no
ringer.
eyes, yeah.
As the rest of the combo looking to walk through main, Stickies and Fish are here, but both get cleared out. And Uber coming across, actually very already far out towards some spawn. Good snipe onto Lenny out of Brian is going to make it so no one has to be too afraid. And, we're already on that leapfrog trajectory. Cap comes into for Dumb Kids first of the round, and actually going to be having Uber. But stab from Jacob onto Kira is huge. Follow-up from Brian onto Flu is going to buy them a man ad. So Dumb Kids stabilize here, actually safely out to spawn. So, yeah, Uber leapfrog has started.
Yeah, but look how well Blake is building. It's only going to be a 30 dis ad, so this is very much in favor of DK. You're really going to need to try to find a kill onto Blake with this Uber. Otherwise, they're just going to maintain the majority of the point present. Ashley coming up on Uber. You want to use this immediately. Give as much time as possible to kill the enemy med. It will work out. There we go. Kira jumping forward, but they've given Blake enough time to back out right now. He's all the way out towards spawn. Gonna be safe and sound.
Jacob has a drop down on the sniper, and he picks off Lenny, and now the fight comes in. Billy takes Ashley to half, and Ashley gets a body shot out of the sky. They're trying to now get whatever kills they can. Air shot is huge, and Kira gets Blake with that pipe at the very end of it. So despite a good start for Dumb Kids there, Blake dies on 99%.
And there was the pause coming through in real time. So no leapfrog when both meds are going down. I mean, really clutch by here that you have to imagine Blake's holding them too, trying to use as soon as possible. Blank gonna get the bleed kill on to Carson to open things up.
Boys, oh my god, Ashley got popped up by a rocket, and Brian hits the quick scope over Japan to take down that enemy medic. That's a crazy play coming through. Doubles up and now triples up onto Melon. Good reflection Fuzzy, denies Poseidon. Blake gonna be safe and sound, and with that cap and Uber ad for Dumb Kids. So all said and done, this has been very good for Dumb Kids.
Yep, we saw Brian last night with a propensity for finding medics on product and already starting that, although hard to really blame that one on Ashley. Getting popped up and shot out of the air like that, not your standard play as a medic. But if you're DK, you're happy with the way it turns out. You have the point, you have ad, and you have a kill onto Fish. So no one calming your position, no one waiting in the shadows to stab you. Witness just going to be walking up here. They know that they have to keep the pace going, and they're going to find Brian. That's going to force the Uber out. Kira hit up low in main, and they will forcibly expel Crump. And right into Lenny's waiting scope takes the sniper, or takes the demo down. More kills on to DK right now, and that Uber may have just gotten to overextend.
Yeah, Billy Boy jumping in, looks to find a kill onto the medic, but just gets denied by Eerie and Co. Kira and Eerie do go down, though. That's some pretty good combo kills. Somehow, this medic getting the kill into the heavy. But Lenny standing tall, taking down Brian means that plenty of space to work for Witness, despite their combo being at half strength. So, we will now see them set up on their defense, down 30 seconds on the clock. Lenny standing on the rock is a threat, trying to get bled here by the Scout Cleaver, but Triple not able to hit the ball just yet. We'll throw it anyway. Can't hit it. Now Lenny's scoped up right side of the point. You gotta watch Lenny here. Ashley has 100% Uber ad, so you normally see body shot hit onto Lenny, and he's dead to ball. Here comes Billy. Ashley forced. That's an amazing play right now from Dumb Kids.
That's exactly what you're looking for. Lots of people surfing out on the side of DK. Surf is up behind House. Blake, though, however, safe and sound on Grab. Coming in now 80%, not even waiting for the Uber, just walking up right now.
Has a great flank onto Eerie, gonna be taking him down. Now looking into the combo, takes down Melon. He will go down finally, but he bought so much space. Soldier now coming in late, deciding to take him down, and that should be a recap for DK here.
Yep, the big thing is whether or not they have to use the Uber to get it. They love to bully them out without it, and it looks like that is what's going to happen.
Jacob's on the sniper here, and that's a free pick. You don't have to use it all now if you're DK.
I wouldn't hate seeing a sack out of a demo here just to get the Uber, but big deaths from Kira. This thing he's fine 3 right as they kept. That's going to be long spawns too. Brian equalizes out onto Flu, but you know,
Jacob's
the
going for
wheels are
Ashley.
turning.
Stab, hits the stab. Jacob, an amazing play right there to make sure the enemy medic is gone. Free Uber coming forward. They do lose a couple players, Dumb Kids, but they have enough position. They should be able to get people back in time, and they're going to have Uber at even more coming forward. Time even on the clock, 30 seconds. Blake will have by the end of the round. Ashley might not, depending on how things go.
Yeah, it's going to come down. You're going to need an overtime and probably a cap if you're Ashley to get, but it may not even come down to that stab onto Tuca, but all the kills otherwise in favor of DK right now. Lots of comboing.
Blake is one.
And Eerie both dead.
Crucial. Fuzzy needed to hit that to save his medic, and he hits it.
Taking the pack, waiting for an angle, but Billy finds him, sniffs him out. Not sure if he bumped him or not, but Jacob with the dom onto Lenny, drops and finds Eerie too. He's getting away with murder, literally. It's going to be the last minute, you know, scramble for the cap right now. Like, it's going to go down. Triple finds Ashley. Even if they get the cap, I can't imagine it's going to turn into a round. And just, I mean, for how close this round is, it feels like things have been going for DK all the time.
I mean, Jacob is top the scoreboard, only passed by his medic at the very end there because, you know, Jacob ends up dying for that 2K. But he did so much work in that round. So many sniper picks, a crucial med pick right when the team needed it, and then everyone stepped up. Fuzzy had a couple of really great
I
times.
just pulled up the logs. Blake 1-1 to Ashley's 0-5.
5 deaths, and they were 30 seconds from winning. That's crazy.
10 and 4 on Brian, 8 and 8 on Jacob, 18 picks to 8 on the side of Witness Gaming for the
Poseidon pre-jumped on Cliff, but the sniper was not there, and Ashley is dead. Billy Boy getting that pick, stab onto Lenny. Crump the only kill going back in favor of Witness right now. And this looks like a decisive mid-fight win coming in for Dumb Kids, looking to build on that momentum of that round 1 win. Tuke goes through and just gets all the cleanup from Connector. Big man standing.
You know what Witness Gaming could really use right now, Zach?
Crit streak.
Attack pause. This is the point where you suddenly say, okay, we had a close round, come into mid, get punched in the mouth again. There's no need to wait for you to be down 0-2 to start talking about what's going wrong. The rules let you take tag pauses for a reason. However, Witness Gaming will choose to fight it out under the same, essentially losing strategies they have been. Blake with full ad, Hero walking up, the lone man in Valley, trying to buy some pressure with Lenny backing him up. They're moving in, they have the ground secured. Blake takes a little bit of damage. That's going to be enough to force him out.
Yeah, Fuzzy taken down by that pipe. Uber coming in, trying to hunt down some people. You get the pyro trade, and you get Fish on that back out. Not too much, especially with Billy going down 7v7 with faster spawns for Witness Gaming. So they're going to look to get back in here once they have this Uber for Ashley. Jacob going for the drop stab, misses it, but finds it onto Kira, and that's a huge one to get at the end. Now uncontested, Crump takes down Blank. No demo, no scout, that means no push. Two goes through, kills Eerie, and that just falls apart. Ashley has 20 HP for the, you know, thanking the lucky stars that they get out to spawn, but overall, that was a great deny from Dumb Kids.
That's how you know you're on a spy, right? You don't get who you're going for, still find a meaningful kill. And Duke taunting Fish in the safety of his own backline just for the aura farm.
Yeah, poor Kira has not gotten to play the game the past two. I've gotten killed by pick class. Uber comes out anyway. Witness say we cannot wait any longer. It's a Pyro Scout Uber. You do get Brian somehow, so that's not the worst. But Blake now has 100% Uber. Team gonna be looking to go back in it. Lenny gets a shot but doesn't hit any kills. Billy Boy's in onto Ashley. Ashley taken low. Billy's still alive on the rewrap. Takes down that enemy medic. And now all the kills trying to come in favor of Dumpkins here. They're trying to get this Adele man off the point. They get Fish and they get Lenny, which is pretty good. Triple now going to be coming in as that scout class. All the kills are his to take. A couple players going to be contributing as well. Eerie and Poseidon go down, and Dumpkins recap immediately. This round is looking very stable for them.
Yeah, I mean, Lenny, bottom of the scoreboard right now, not what you want to see. Really just going to show that Brian is on tonight. Just increases the lead even further with the kill into Fish. Brian, not even at the top of the scoreboard, hovering around the middle with Jacob.
Yeah, so much. Yeah. Lenny peeking off of China, gets lit on fire instantly, will drop down to his medic.
I have the logs from last round up, Zach. Brian had 19% beam.
That's a lot for a sniper.
Crump 23, Brian 19.
To me, that says that Blank isn't getting enough, but they will be bombing in. Billy looking for kills, and Kira's just dead again to a pick class. Kira has been pick classed so many times, and Brian, his 5k onto Blank comes through. Brian and Jacob are taking this product into their own hands, as it's really uncontested round. Only 18 seconds off the clock for Witness Gaming up to this point, and they will come up to an even Uber now, but they are so far in the hole.
Yeah, I'm going to be annoying and say it would have been a great time to talk this, because clearly whatever Witness Gaming is doing is not working. DK has adapted from when these two teams played last week. I mean, it may not even be that. It may just be that Lenny's not having the impact that he had last time. He's really been unable to do too much.
Look at this.
Bombs coming in.
Really control is won by Witness. They have Eerie through, they have Poseidon through, and they're getting kills. Fuzzy down, Blake dead to Poseidon. That flank control will get them their first real teamfight win of the round.
Yep, and Poseidon's going to be the one coming in, doubling Blake's death total with the kill right there. So good to see that, you know, at least they have something coming. They're just waiting for their spawns before capping. Not too much harm with overtime. You've got 240 on the clock, whether it's 239 or 245, you know, not going to really matter too much. You need a miracle to pull this out right now. If I'm Witness Gaming, I'm just trying to hold this as long as I can, get as much data as I can, but
if you
I don't
are
think the
Dumpkins,
there.
I love a sack here. Their sacks have been very good at getting value. Jacob is in position in a couple seconds. I see they're buffing up onto Billy Boy. He's gotten a pack. Will now go in for his jump. Jacob gets through even without the distraction. Lenny and Kira go down. Big kills for Jacob. He has done so much. And there's the kill. Ashley dies at 96% to that Brian body shot. And you gotta imagine once Blake has this Uber, that is just the nail in the coffin. They don't even need the Uber. They're just gonna run in. 2 gets 2. Reflect pipe on the triple is pretty big, but there's just not enough people alive for Witness.
Yep, losing their med there is going to be so damaging. If you're able to get that Uber off, things could have been different, but it's going to be a 2-0 and a dominant one at bat for DK.
Jacob is just getting away with so much right now. His decloaks have been amazing. He's been such a thorn in the side of Witness Gaming. When the sack, I call it the sack plane advance, right? Because the DK sacks have always been so good on this map. You see Jacob in behind, you see Billy Boy getting ready to bomb. Jacob has the 2K before Billy Boy is across mid, right? He's still mid-jump in the sky, not even across the midpoint when Jacob's getting his 2K.
He's got 519 DPM on Spy.
That's crazy. That's so many backstabs.
He's 12 and 14 and 12 backstabs.
12 backstabs, yeah. With 500 DPM, you gotta be 12 backstabs.
He's done 340 revolver damage to 5,500 with the knife.
Yeah, and you know, Jacob normally gets a lot of value with the revolver, but if he's finding these avenues to get so many high value backstabs, taking out a full health class, especially in pick time, in downtime scenarios, that's always just going to be complete fight swinging. And for Witness Gaming, I mean, your engineer is far and away top fragging your team. What does that say about what's happening? I don't know.
Dolphin, can we? Because look, logs are up. I don't think we're going to glean too much from these, right? It was a pretty solid win out of Dumb Kids. A lot went right. Can we get heal spreads up, Dolphin?
I feel like Blank was not getting nearly enough beam.
Well, that's what I'm going to get to. I'm not sure if Dolphin has that ability to pull those up.
11%? Same as Soldier. But I mean, I guess triple same as Billy
Triple
Boy
with
as
9.
well.
Brian is the one I want to call out here.
18%. He's above Fuzzy. He's above Toog.
He's second healed on his team.
Yeah, Brian is second
Which,
healed.
I mean, makes sense, right? When your sniper's doing that much, but just crazy adaptation. Single-digit scout heals on product. I mean, Saif is rolling in his grave right now. He I didn't think I'd ever see the day.
Yeah, I mean, for Dumb Kids, it's very clearly working, right? Brian is taking this and running with it when he's getting 18% heals. And, you know, Lenny's getting 13. It's not like a. It is a pretty big discrepancy, I will say, but like Lenny is basically tied for 4th heal on his team. Brian is just taking so many heals. It's not like Lenny's not getting enough. Brian is just the center point for how this team runs. And when Jacob is contributing as much as he does, that's when you get these rounds that feel like Dumb Kids are just very far in control. And by the way, is if these Ubers are true, Ashley's 7 to Blake's 4? That doesn't seem right, especially it's reversed. Okay.
Blake
yeah.
7 to Blake 7 to
Okay,
Ashley's
that makes
4.
more sense.
Yeah, I think this view of the HUD might be a little skewed, as you can tell with the Ubers being reversed right there, but the heals per minutes are still there. And I mean, I can't get over second healing sniper. That's so crazy.
That's the product special. The product is the only map where this is even remotely possible.
18% beam. Thinking about what Valve intended with the Razorback, not letting you get buffed. How far we've come.
Dude, back when you
that.
could buff and that thing was unbanned, like, oh my god, this game mode was so bad.
I mean, okay, we're not doing a whole lot of analysis here because I don't think there's a whole lot to say.
I mean, Dumb Kids have found their strategy.
Pick classes, the dumb. I don't even want to say it's a strategy, right? It's just the Dumb Kids pick classes have been committing unspeakable acts of horror against Witness Gaming, and until they're able to shut those down, nothing's going to change. You know,
beatings will continue until pick class morale improves.
And like, okay, dealing with Brian is one thing, right? Many an invite team have failed to do that. You cannot let Jacob get away with what he's going for here. Jacob is a great player, very possibly the best spy of all time. He is not hitting best spy of all time decloaks. He's decloaking on China and dropping down in the middle of 9 people. It's not anything revolutionary.
And something I want to talk about is that Jacob is getting this value while Flu is playing like a hyper defensive engineer. Like, yes, Fluaris has 16 kills and is top ranking his team. A lot of those kills are just coming off of his team already dying and he's getting like cleanup kills, which, you know, as an engineer, you get those kills because they're useful, right? Like, you can't really be on the frontline man as engineer. So when people dive in on you, when the spy's going to decloak in 1-for-1, you get that kill, you prevent it from getting worse. But at the end of the day, Witness Gaming is getting, or DK rather, is getting their kills. They're getting their win condition, which is Jacob is getting his kills, Brian is getting 18% heals and getting his kills, and things are going well. So, I mean, like you said, until the pick class situation changes, Dumb Kids are going to keep rolling through here. So Witness Gaming, now that we're into the second half of product, need to find an answer.
Yeah, and I mean, we'll see if that halftime was enough to figure it out. Starts with Jacob. I think Lenny, or Brian, excuse me, comes after. Billy Boy coming, and you can't lose your men right off the bat, and they won.
Both sold
decided that, and Lenny winning the SPS onto Brian. That's a start. Fish onto Duke as well. Things seem to be shifting Witness Gaming's ways. They will manage to win this mid pretty solidly. They don't kill Blake, so it's not quite a rout, but compared to what they've just been through, you'll take any sort of improvement, and this is a big one.
Yeah, Lenny scoped up on concrete side. Will now get back onto the rock in pocket. So now with even Ubers on both sides, Blake has a bit less percentage. Brian gonna get a kill into Eerie. That's a pretty big opener for that heavy. And Uber forced out. You're very happy with that if you are Dumb Kids here. Blake is gonna get out of dodge. Uber force for pretty much free. Just wait for that Demo Man respawn and you'll be good to go. Time ticking off the clock just a bit. It'll be about 45 seconds off before Dumb Kids get in on their Uber.
Yeah, I mean, 40, yeah, about. I'm surprised they haven't pushed yet. They've had the numbers. They're just really taking their time, giving Ashley a little bit more time to neutralize the gap. Won't be enough to stop the leapfrog overall.
Jake was a decloak, but can't quite get it. Does get denied by Melon this time and taken out with nothing. Uber not popped out yet for the side of Dumpkin. They're just taking control of the point. They have a kill into Melon, but dropping players, Triple and Toot dead. That's a lot of hit scan power, and they're just gonna have to leave. Blake still has Uber, but there's not enough players to use it on, so Dumpkid's committed there. They said we're not using Uber. They think they have it for free, but just too many players go down, and they don't get the point, and they still have this Uber, so really just time wasted.
But now Ashley has Uber as well. So once again, a bit of a questionable decision to not use from the side of DK. Fish opening up to Brian as well means they're going to be so set in post. The cap time is there, but the bodies are not. Going to be chased back out through main by Blank at the end of that Uber. And again, no sniper right now. Erie's able to play super forward. He will get focused down. Buy some fish for the rest of the team. Billy and Duke gonna be the trades out. Triple neck, so value in favor of Witness there. Slowly choking them out here. Fish coming in from the back line. Brian will turn in time, but the key shooter onto Blake takes him out, meaning Ashley gonna be sitting on full ads soon enough. Witness really, took the time, worked out what they needed to. They're looking like a completely different team.
Fish is having a really great round. He has a sniper pick. In that fight, he got a heavy and a medic with a revolver in the back, just being really great at picking up these kills that his team is setting up. And Brian has been eating it. I mean, Brian's only gotten like, what, 1 or 2 kills this round so far? Yeah, he has 6 points. He's done a bit more than that. But yeah, Lenny's been standing tall, and Brian and Jacob have not been getting away with their shenanigans. And all of a sudden, Witness Gaming look like the ones in the lead.
Yeah. I mean, it feels a bit like a, flip of the script. Both pick classes now doing way more solidly right here. Fury's still not having too much impact on the scoreboard either half, but Blank's up there. Brian starting to warm up. Here we go. Melon and Lenny both going down.
Brian,
they will Uber in.
Blake is so caught. Yeah, Blake is so caught. They committed their combo really hard. I mean, you're fine with that. It stalls time. It stalls time. Witness Gaming are up 2.5 minutes on the clock, so they're perfectly fine trading time for bodies here.
Yeah, it's definitely a good point there. The cap will come through. Ashley has very slight Uber over Blake. Wasn't feeling great on the way out, I don't believe. But they're stalling the cap here. I don't think they want to extend Duke, but they lower it down to 2 seconds from what could have been 7 or 6. We'll see if that comes into play.
Fish has a great decloak and gets a free soldier kill, so Billy Boy's just dead. And on the other side, though, Jacob finds Lenny. That's an even bigger one coming forward. The question is, how much can Brian do? He's backing out at half HP, and if this cap goes through, Dumpkin only have 2 seconds to get on it. Duke gets stabbed out by Fish. Fish doubles up onto Fuzzy. Jacob going down to Ashley, and just like that, Witness Gaming have the most dominant round we've seen so far.
One of those cases where I don't think waiting those extra 5 seconds was worth it to not extend your heavy. You cap that, you get your defense set up, you have a little bit more time when Witness inevitably comes back in, but, Witness proving that, hey, those first 2 rounds may have just been a fluke.
Billy Boy has 3 points, by the way. He did nothing that entire round. I watched him get nuked off his bombs permanently, so I want to see some adaptation from him. And this round, he goes on to clip immediately, but just dead immediately, and I don't like it. I don't like it at all, really. But Ashley's dead. Trump just nukes her over the point with some pipes, and now here comes the cavalry. 2 through connector. How many times have we seen that? Gets all the kills.
That's a full light for a good 4 seconds, I want to say. 5, actually. Looking back over at the cast on a little bit of delay right there. So, I mean, bomb from Billy Boy not required. The rest of the team just saying, all right, you guys had your round. We're courtesy round. We're locking in.
Yeah, and now Uber ad for Blake here, about 50%, as Brian going to be taking these 18% patented sniper deals on product. He hits a headshot onto Poseidon, so that soldier not going to be available to jump anytime soon.
Yep, call coming out from Blake. Ashley only at 4.
Duke's dead. That's a big one.
Lenny onto 2, gonna finish him off. Opens up connector. Jacob, though, onto triple. Means that no demo is gonna make this push a lot harder to convert on Brian. Takes out Flip. Triple takes out Lenny. The bodies are falling one after another. Ashley is still in. They really want to force this Uber out.
It's
They're
not
willing
getting
to
forced.
throw
There's no one
everyone
can
in
do
the
damage.
kitchen sink out of it. Yeah,
there's no one
Blake
can do damage.
Hold on.
Yeah. Kira died early, and just no one else could get any damage done. Blake still has his Uber, and time ticking off the clock. Already 1 minute advantage for DK here, and they're going to be looking to just reset fully. Brian up here on Rock. Full buff. We'll see if they can dislodge him, Witness Gaming, because it's a long walk uphill. How many times have we seen a demo man eat a headshot up here?
Quite a few times, even more so when it's Brian. But Uber popped out, Kira jumps forward, not really going to find anyone. They do get the Uber out. Jacob, thus far, the only casualty
Look at Lenny.
of the
Lenny
Uber
has a
exchange,
China
unrelated.
peek. Now he's a Japan peek onto Brian.
Fish, aggro, deco, great, air blast, Fuzzy gets launched in. Fish may actually end up staying alive, just barely.
Billy Boy gets nuked by Melon on the
in favor
reflect.
of Witness.
Yeah, reflect from Melon is really good to keep the combo healthy, and dumb kids get nothing. Witness, really great push there to get on the board in the round. Crucially, Blake not dying means that there will be even Ubers here, so dumb kids still heavily in the lead coming forward, but this is the first forward hold we've seen of product so far. This game looking to do some work with it.
Yep, Jacob, Duke, Fuzzy all going down, but Billy finds Ashley on the back end. A little bit over aggressive. They will take him down
Very-
eventually, but, you know, they buy some time, but at what cost? They're still only 30 seconds into the cap, so losing your mid there is going to be really damning for them. Blake coming up on Uber as well. You know, they may be able to just use this Uber to bully them out without even having to use. If you're Witness Gaming, that's probably worst case. You want to get this fourth, if anything.
Yeah, and now Blake with this 100% Uber ad go to walk forward. Good kill onto Fish means no one has to be worried about turning around here. As Uber comes across the point, Solo onto triple, flash onto the demo, looking to take the space. Jacob really great picking downtime onto Lenny, and then Billy Boy
Ashley.
with the missile onto Ashley. That's Billy Boy, what we know he can do, and just sinks those rockets on the med backing out of main. Free Uber in the end for Dumb Kids, and now capped up. Things looking great for them.
I mean, you shouldn't get away with that. That's just Ashley not committing between staying in or getting out. She was far enough back that the rocket angle was really hard for Melon to reflect. So, I mean, second sense on those rockets. I'm shocked even at vision of her there. But ultimately, you know, Billy comes in, takes his impact node, and yeah, it's going to be about a minute time lead, plus the continued ad for Blake here. Cap time starting to come in, though. They're trying to buy present. Fish will go down. Crumb kick body shot, which could open up a lot more. That may be enough for the cap to go over.
Yeah, Billy Boy eats that body shot out of the sky, and Lenny doubles up onto Carson. That said, Cap is stopped right now, so time is leading in favor of Dumb Kids on this Cap. They finally get their cross, and with Ashley getting stabbed right now, Jacob hitting a great backstab, and this can be a free Uber if Blake wants to use it. They need to get to triple, though. With triple down, it's hard to do this. They're going to go anyway because there's no heals. Kira gets taken down by Fuzzy, and Blake holding the Uber. That's ballsy, but it ends up working right now. They are getting the kills without it.
Tried to go for a cheeky decloak and just gets WM1 down. And yeah, as we said, Blake holding on. So a couple of times where holding on Ubers may have stung Blake thus far tonight, but proving he's nothing if not committed to the act of trying to get away with it when he can. And it works out for them big here as they've got full ad and the time lead.
Kill onto Lenny by Brian there. That Witness sniper on a respawn timer can't do anything for just a bit longer. Jacob cloaked all the way through behind. Fish can't cross, so he's not factoring the play yet either. Crump now looking to do some damage, and damage he does do onto Melon. What a reflect from Fuzzy. He has been denying Poseidon all game, and now Uber comes forward. They're going to try and get as many kills as they can. Billy over the top looks fine, but Jacob gets Ashley and doubles up onto Blank. So this one is a wash. Dumb Kids go up 3-1.
Yeah. And I mean, a lot more of what we saw from the first half there. I mean, obviously Jacob not having quite the nuclear half he had in the first two rounds.
Really good picks at the end.
Yeah, and Ashley is dying too often. I mean, we say it before, you can never isolate a medic stats to just one person, but it's happening way too often. Are Billy and Jacob good? Yes. Are they getting away with too much? Absolutely.
Yeah, we'll see if Witness Gaming have a response to that, as now it's match point for Dumb Kids on their own product. Billy Boy, I like this bomb a lot. He goes straight onto Lenny from China, finds that sniper pick. Poseidon again reflected. Fuzzy's been on point all map. Brian and Took do go down, so there's a bit of a counter fight, but Eerie gonna get sandwiched here by the flank classes running through connector, and Dumb Kids look like they won another mid here.
Yep, big numbers ad for them right now. Presence ad as well. Gonna be calling the back out. Ashley staying alive and backing all the way up into spawn. This time learned her lesson. Billy Boy can nuke you anywhere on the main part of product if you're not in spawn. So successfully staying alive right there. We'll likely be seeing the exchange come out soon, as the Ubers are going to be pretty close to even. So
Yep, it's up here for both meds. So Uber going to come across left side from Kira and Blank here. Looking to find some damage. Counter Uber comes out. Solo into Crump right now. So Uber's going to be a lot better for Dumb Kids in the post. Jacob's in a bit early. Will not be able to get anything done. A lot of flank presence coming out of Witness Gaming here. Eerie and Poseidon looking to walk across. Took is going to be a big man to watch here as the bomb comes through. Kira eats a headshot. Big kick found by Ryan. Backstab onto him though. In the meantime, Took is through. Gets Eerie. Gets Melon. We've seen him do it so many times, but more kills in favor of Witness. Good cleanup there out of some hit scan classes, and it will be the first cap of the round for Witness coming here.
yeah, both demos, both snipers going down, but Took being the decider, they're taking so much presence, will end up not being able to hold the point even with all those kills though, as just faster spawns end up doing them in despite the good plays. So Witness Gaming finally in control.
How does he get a
over
kill
the
in
point.
downtime on the sniper? And now Billy Boy's in, trying to find Ashley. Ashley's 1 HP, barely kept alive right now. Can anyone find the damage? The answer is no, but Fish, Melon, and finally Ashley dies. Fuzzy with that sport shot snipe across the map to get the medic kill.
It's just too many deaths.
Jacob should not be getting these downtime sniper kills. The bomb isn't even in yet by the time he's getting the staff. Lenny back up from the grave. We'll take down Triple and Brian. So Lenny says, you know, he's getting activated just a bit. Uber comes out for Dumbkids to make sure they have the point. It's basically a free Uber here as Ashley just respawns, so they'll take it as Jacob gets his dom on Lenny.
Yeah, and you know, I think he'll be very happy to see that bit of a psychological medal of honor, you could say, from the dom off on to the sniper. In Invite Grand Finals, always something you want to do. You're doing your job. That's by Brian equaling out onto the SBS. He takes the win this time. Gets Eerie right afterwards. Witness already dropping players, and they haven't even started to walk up yet.
Yeah, Billy Boy bombing in the back, getting Kira, picking him up, and staying alive. If he gets healed, can't get healed. Mini Sentry takes him down. So either way, he'll be happy with it. They're going to run forward, kill Blank. Triple looking to run around. Lenny going to drop into his waiting maw. And he gets out alive. So Triple very happy with that one.
Yeah, and Witness just do not have anything going for them. You know, and Spy is the only kill you're able to get repeatedly. It does not spell good thing. So, again, we've mentioned it at the start with the sniper. I mean, Brian's not having a completely nuclear performance here. It's really other players on the team stepping up right now. Kira's even going to sticky him out. Look at him, Blake. Oh, good pipes from Kira. Feels like he's good for one of those and a half, regardless of what team he's going against on product. And that's going to be enough for them.
Trying to stack on Ashley here. Jacob is trying to hurt her into the front lines. Triple trying to get through, but no one really able to get in deep. Two gets Eerie, it's a bit funny, but he's left alone. We'll get Poseidon too. That's a couple nice kills that are long spawn timers, but at the end of the day, Ashley stays alive and builds that 25% ad.
Ooh, yeah, Poseidon caught on an especially nasty spawn wave still, I think it was about 20 seconds or so, gonna be a long time up. But Lenny equalizing it, you know, no soldiers on the board now with Billy Boy going down, so no one to really jump in, create that initial space, and Fish finding the stab onto Brian will go down for it, but a very good time. Lets Kira play out wide on point, no need to fear the sightlines.
Billy Boy's in.
Onto Ash, takes one rocket.
Fuzzy's in. Does a lot of damage onto Ashley. Jacob can't find the cleanup either. Ashley gets safely out to that pack, and that was basically a elongated sack play from Dumb Kids. Get some pressure, see if he can find the medic. It doesn't go their way this time, but either way, that's basically their advantage in time going to be equalized here, as about 1 minute on the clock left for Witness Gaming, 45 for Dumb Kids, so this round might come down to the wire even after it looked really good for Dumb Kids. We'll see what they can do with his Uber.
Yep, Blake gonna walk up
Jacob's
the
early,
lane with the rest of the team right now. Uber popped out from blue, but Brian on Lenny means that DK has the ad in the post. Crump popped up, but otherwise no exchanges going through. Point in favor of Witness Gaming, with Sniper in favor of DK. Kooks walking forward, getting arrow tanked up on boxes, will go down. Blue's glow stick causing havoc. It's a party out there.
But look at Brian
is
unleashed.
the DJ. Blue and Blake and
Kira, Duke over the top, takes down Blake and Brian. Those pipes land just as they need to. It's only some flank classes left, but Jacob finds Ashley. That one's pretty big. Respawns are fast for Dumb Kids here. That medic pick by Jacob is going to mean that they will have Uber advantage going into the late game. They just need to get this point now for Dumb Kids.
Yeah, I mean, just chaos. I thought that was going to go in favor of DK there for a bit. But Lenny now picking off Fuzz means that a capture would be extending that key combo class. Brian, bigger kick on to Kira before getting stabbed out.
17 seconds on Brian. He's down for so long. Billy Boy goes in, takes down Fish, stays alive. That is crucial. Look at Lenny. He's uncontested. Jacob really wants his kill, but gets caught out by Melon. Lenny gets his revenge finally and capturing up. Billy Boy looking for the bomb, trying to find the sniper. Does get it. That's a big kill to find. Rest of the players trying to contest this. 5 seconds left after the cap. The question is, do DK have enough people? They need to get on it. It's really just Carson here. Fuzzy and Triple going to make the run up Normandy, but they can't get on it in time. And that's going to be the half going in favor of Witness Gaming. It's 3-2 in Dumb Kids overall, but Witness Gaming definitely pulling it closer.
Yep, so half two. The adaptations we needed to see from Witness were there. I'm sure they would have liked to have taken that 2-0, but given how strong DK looked in the start of that, they're going to be happy to claw it back at all.
Lenny's bottom of scoreboard for his team, by the way.
Yeah, Poseidon's above him, and then Fish is third from the bottom, so some of those key playmakers you're expecting on Witness not there, but Witness still making it happen, winning that half out 2-1 on the backs of really strong performances from Kira and Blank. That drop from Kira, I think, is what really got them back into it.
I don't want to. I hate like calling out medic players who like, you know, dropped like the sticky pipe sync thing, because it's hard to react to. At the same time, Blake has this propensity to milk Uber a lot longer than most medics are willing to do. and sometimes it's gonna bite you. In that case, that was even Uber v even Uber situation. DK have point. They know Witness are going to come into them. Blake stayed with his back turned to the point, playing like on the rock, on like the wooden part crate, like the wooden fence on the back of rock, and he didn't have vision of the Uber coming at him, so he didn't expect that he was going to get nuked. And there, he's definitely thinking, I'm going to milk until the player who I'm taking is like taken low, or I take a bit of damage. But it just bites him that one time where he's trying to milk, he wants to get the most out of it, but occasionally someone will make a play, and Kira sinking those explosives does make the play there, and that is the difference maker in that round.
Yeah, I mean, even still, 7 deaths for Ashley to Blake's 4. Still, I mean, unfortunate, right, that death ends up meaning so much, because overall, Blake's still having a really solid performance. I've got the logs up. I mean, good plays all around. Flu Walrus coming in with the 17 and 8.
Yeah, I think he's still top fragging his team for the match so far, by the way.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not a completely empty kill spread. I mean, does he have 6 spies? Yes. 2 scout, 4 soldier, 2 pyro, 3 heavy?
It's solid. I mean, yeah, he's been doing his job.
He's getting in there. Yeah,
he plays a very solid and the defensive engineer that knows how to go aggressive when he has it. The Frontier Justice swap to take down Tuke at the end there, that's high value. So, Flu definitely able to find the value. As Blank ends up getting that top frag, 430 DPM on Blank, having a really good half after his first one was pretty forgettable.
Something else I want to call out is we brought up the heal spread before Dolphin. Maybe we bring that back. Nothing as drastic as second healing a sniper, but I want to say Blank only had single-digit heals in the first half.
He had like 11. It was kind of low.
It was triple that had 9% then.
Yeah, triple at 9.
But even so, significantly more heals on Blank
exactly.
this time. Second healing scout, which you kind of expect on product. Triple, however, not really playing nearly as close to the beam as one would expect. Much better this time, up from 9 to 14, but not quite the second heal that you normally see from Scout on this map.
The Uber stats are swapped again because of the drop on Blake, but both mets had 7 Ubers at the end of it anyway. So not too big of a deal there. I mean, that one drop was a big deal, obviously, but yeah, I mean, I'm just looking at the heal spread, and yeah, I mean, it's pretty standard across the board from both sides, really. For dumb kids, it probably really feels bad to not close it out there, I'm not gonna lie, because it felt like they played better for like most of that last round, but the one drop was like so momentum swinging that it really cost them.
Yeah, and when you're at this point in the season, the teams are so good that you give them an inch, they're taking you a mile. It does not matter, how big your lead is. If you feed them something as major as a free med drop on a desperation repush, they're going to take it and run all the way home with it. And that's kind of exactly what I feel like Witness did. And now, they're still not up on product, but they're in a position where they've made it to the third half. They need to cap 2 rounds in a row here. You only need to see 1 out of DK. If Witness win and they win 2 in a row here, that's our season.
Yeah, I mean, definitely on the board. Witness making the comeback here on product and close things out. That said, I'd still favor Dumb Kids. They've been playing better on product for the majority of the time. It's their map pick. It is do or die for them. Their backs are against the wall, and they've shown that they can win the products. And I have faith that they can get 1 on the board of these next 2.
Yeah, it's hard for me to think Brian's going to get O2'd here with just how much he can really dig deep and pull things out when his team's back is against the wall. Yeah, I mean, Jacob, too. Praising Jacob is a little bit old hat at this point, but he's really having one of his better games this season.
Yeah, I mean, he was a major driving force for the 2-0 in the first round, and I'd say as well as getting that third round on the board for his team. A bit quieter towards the end, got kind of shut down in a couple of his decloaks. Melon did some good spy checking when he was going for like the cliff drops and the China drops, so did get a bit more attention put his way, as did Brian. Wasn't able to really go off like he did at the start of the game. So I mean, Witness Gaming, they are adapting. They've recognized that these pick classes are really hampering them and have done as much as they could to come back into it, and they went out the half, so is working. You need to make it work for a bit longer if you want to win the title right here.
Yeah, I mean, I think in the case of Witness, it's how long? Exactly 2 rounds. Because I think with them, right, if DK happens to win this, you go to Asheville. And to me, that's the linchpin of this entire BO5. You have to imagine Witness would be favored on that if they can get there. But in the event DK wins, all the momentum's going to be theirs.
Yeah, the world where product and then upward goes DK's favor, we go to Asheville. You have to imagine that like Witness Gaming have a bit in their heads at that point. They lose product, and then like the map that they have more faith in than the Asheville in all likelihood, because it's it's their second pick. It doesn't go their way either. At that point, anything can happen. And again, we've said it probably 10 times in this cast, we really don't know what the results of this grand finals are going to be, which is not most common for Highlander grand finals. Normally, we see a team pretty solidly in the lead by this point. Yes, we do have a 2-0 for Witness Gaming rather, but I mean, this product that's Dumb Kids favored at the moment, it's the start of the snowball. You never know.
Yeah, I mean, upward's still going to be a hurdle, I think. But the teams are ready. We're moving into what will be the last half of product. 3-2 in favor of Dumb Kids. One more round. They send us to Ash. 2 rounds for Witness. The season's theirs.
All important rounds coming up. Dumb Kids still on blue, Witness on red. So we'll see who's able to get the picks on this mid fight. We've seen a lot of very aggressive mids from the soldiers, and Blank just eats a body shot into a sport shot and dies instantly. Billy Boy's in the backline, but Tuke is dead. Big pick. Lenny gets stabbed, and Billy Boy gets Ashley. That's a lot of combo presence now for Dumb Kids, able to walk onto the point. Jacob's still alive and doing a lot of damage, just some distraction. Brian just gets shot in the back by an engineer, but it will just be at the kill at the cost of the point. So now Dumb Kids, they win the mid. They get Uber ad. Things looking good.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, that really was a flashback to the first round to me, I feel like. And it's really the big kind of through line to me of what Witness has been struggling with, is just keeping Ashley alive.
Yep, Billy Boy doing tons of work on that mid, as is Jacob getting that sniper pick. So we will now see Witness Gaming likely walk up for a sack here. They want to get this Uber out of Blake. It's still a long time for Ashley to build. A couple people dry walking up to the rock, seeing what they can do. Lenny posted up in pocket, looking for an angle. Jacob not able to stab, eats a headshot, and they're just going to Uber straight in, looking for kills. Blue gets bombed by Billy, but that's really all that they're going to find. So not a successful Uber at all for Dumb Kids, but at least they maintain control of the point. If you're Witness, though, you're pretty happy about this.
Yeah, indeed you are. Billy's going to get caught out on the backside too, so no more terrorizing the skies. Fury goes down, but they are able to trade out Cute for it. Poseidon will be the kind of difference maker thus far, but Kira onto Carson eliminates any potential further minis. The cap does go over in their favor. After a minute in favor, Uber comes out. It's going to catch Fuzzy, but I think that's about it.
Yeah, Blake safely out back with the rest of his team. 50% Uber now. The question is, how fast do Dumb Kids want to go? They still need to wait on some spawners. Brian crucially is not alive yet, and Lenny is. So that sniper standing on the rock, you never want to challenge him uncontested. Ball thrown his way. I think it does, no, it does not hit him. So Lenny's still scoped up.
Yeah. Brian, opening up onto Lenny. He's going to make so much space. Billy Boy coming in super hot onto Cliff. Draws a lot of players back right there. The kill's not coming in, but vlogs don't show space made, and he just opened up an ocean of it. Jacob coming in, narrowly misses the stab onto Ashley. Oh.
1 HP, can't get that last revolver shot, Jacob. And Ashley gets back out to the point, so now Triple getting a bit of cleanup here, but point held by Dumb Kids. Uber up for both teams in just a second as Dumb Kids tick into the time lead once more. They're looking pretty good here. The question is for Witness Gaming, can they find an entry pick? Right now, Fish, it's not going to be him. He gets caught out.
Indeed, he does. So, not going to be able to open anything up. A lot of baskets in eggs in Lenny's basket, peeking off of China. Not able to find anything. The exchange will come out. Not really going to find anything. Just cycling those Ubers there. Immediate jump out from Kira.
Jacob gets Lenny again, but Tuke does go down first. Billy Boy comes in on that bomb, actually gets Blue and gets Kira. So Billy Boy and Jacob, an amazing team right now, clearing off Cliff, and a couple of the knives coming forward from the front side. Dumb Kids looking great here. Actually being dead, Jacob chases them down.
Yeah, wow, all the way into spawn, and will go down for it, but you are very happy to trade your life to get that escaping medic. It's a late death too, which just means more of an Uber ad than if Ashley goes down right at the start of a fight. So, DK really want to put their stamp on the show. They're taking at least one map tonight.
Fish went for a spawn camp on a soldier and couldn't get it, so he's just dead now for the rest of the fight. Witness Gaming walking across the point, looking for something, and big headshot onto Crump is going to make some space, but speaking of space, here comes Billy Boy, does some damage, but not really that much impact. The same goes for Jacob, dead immediately. Yuri getting some cleanup, and here's an Uber coming across. It is advantage Uber, so Triple looking to find whatever kills he can, gets Eerie, gets Kira. Those are two pretty good picks to find, and the Dumb Kids get to maintain control of the point for now.
Yep, I have to imagine this ends in overtime, at least, if not the straight up round win. Flu, however, catches Tooth maybe a little bit too aggressive. Could open up some space, and no overtime at all. They capped that quite quickly. Carson's going to be the one caught as they back out, but Fish onto Crump really starting to get the kills moving right now. That's what you need when you're
Jacob's in on the medic.
And
so is Billy Boy. They're looking for Ashley. Ashley, one forced Uber comes out. Really good sack from that Soldier Spy duo that we're so used to for Dumb Kids, and now Witness Gaming, they have to move forward and get this forward space. If they get this Uber and they get kills, the round's going to be over, and so will the map. Carson caught out a bit, will go down, not the biggest kill though.
Yeah, I don't love the forward hold here, because the forward hold
they don't like it either, apparently.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, they lose Fish, you lose your eyes on it, you're going to start getting out-rotated. You got to back up, and Blake with this Uber could potentially end the game right here. He's calling, he's popping, they're jumping. Brian's opening up with a sniper kill. They're going to have so much space to work with in the post right now. Cap time coming through quickly. No one on Witness even
Jacob
in the same
on the
zip code.
drop. He's looking for heavy kill, and he gets it. Eerie is dead. Jacob will trade his life for, but you're happy with that. Brian headshot into Blank, and Kira dead as well. And there's the last round of product. Dumb Kids take it 4-2 and extend grand finals. They are on the board.
Yep, they will not go quietly into that good night. They're taking their map pick, if nothing else thus far, and that brings our overall map score to 2-1 in favor of Witness Gaming. They were up 1-0 when we started as their advantage for coming out of the upper brackets. So, I mean, if you're DK, this is exactly what you want to see.
Yeah, I mean, product was a must-win, right? Like, if you lost product, obviously, like, grand finals is over, but like, even if you won steel, you gotta imagine product being on the board was necessary for their game plan, and they do get it, matching that 4-2 regular season score. So coming back on it after losing it in those upper finals and getting on the board with it. So now we move into Upward, which is the Witness Gaming second pick. This is a map very seldom seen in playoffs. Most teams opt to let it go through, as it's normally an early season map. It's a volatile payload that is probably the most sniper dominated payload. So a lot can happen, especially when Brian is popping off like he is always on product. We'll see if he can continue that momentum. As logs up on your screen, I mean, shout out to Blank. Blank had a very good match overall. Had a slow first 2 rounds, but really came into it. At the end of the day, though, it's not enough.
Yeah, I mean, not enough, I think, is really the kind of theme throughout Witnesses Gaming, as it were. And just, Ashley's dying too much. You can't have your med dying that frequently.
Yeah, I mean, both on Steel and on product so far, Blake has so many less deaths than Ashley overall. And, you gotta give credit where credit's due. Billy Boy and Jacob are a terror to medics. I'd say this is the best Soldier Scout duo when it comes to getting the forces and the med picks. I always see them, in on the same timing, getting the right focuses down. It's hard to live against that, but yeah, there's a couple bets in there where you gotta imagine when you're running out towards spawn, there's a way to live.
Yeah, you can't keep dying, and it's such a late death too. Just means that your next Uber's gonna be a couple seconds behind. 5% here, 10% extra there. It adds up over the course of a match.
Can we talk about how Blake has 43 damage a minute as medic? He's getting like an average of like a crossbow shot onto someone every minute, onto an enemy.
All right, let's calm down, Zag. I can do that. I've probably done that many times.
How many times do you see a near 50 DPM medic in a match like that?
You just weren't paying attention to my stats enough.
Yeah, I was actually. It was highlighted by the 20 deaths next to it.
Okay, but I was doing 50 DPM.
It is 17-6 in medic deaths.
I mean, that's not acceptable. I don't want to take away anything from the DK player. You have to be more survivable as a potential invite-winning med. I mean, ultimately it is what it is, right? The better team won on product. The better product team won on product,
Yeah.
I should say, to be clear, right? You know, if maybe you could say, okay, well, they won, but their medic was constantly in the respawn chamber, but they didn't win, nor should they. And it's enough to move us on to Upward. So I think we're going to take a break for a few minutes here as the teams load in. Zach, any kind of closing thoughts before we jump over?
I mean, this is where we wanted to be. This is where we thought this was the most likely scenario, at least for me, of like where we'd be on grand finals. So we're on track. Upward is where the big questions start. So you won't want to miss it. When we get back, it is map 3 of this grand finals.
Welcome back, gamers and gameheads, to the RGL.GG Invite Highlander Grand Finals for Season 23. We are here watching Witness Gaming try to claim their crown against Dumb Kids. They were able to take that first map of CP Steel in a hard-fought 2-1, but DK fought back on their own pick of Koth product. Now we shift back to Witness's other pick in the finals of PL Upward, where they're going to look to put the season away, lest DK tie things up and take them back to Koth on Asheville as the final map. I am Alto, Zag to my side, Dolphin behind the camera, as always. Zag, how are we feeling moving into Upward?
I'm feeling nervous, I guess is the best way to put it, because this is a map that these two teams don't have any history on in the regular season. And it's a map that you don't often see in playoff best of threes, let alone like best of 5 makes more sense, right? Because there's more of the map pool available, that needs to be played. But Upward is not particularly a map that the top level teams opt into come playoffs, because either you're a Koth team and you pick Koth maps, or you're a stopwatch team and you're good at Swiftwater and Vigil. Those are the two maps that stopwatch teams typically gravitate towards, and the underdog teams were stopwatch teams like Steel a lot more. Upward is a lot less commonly seen for teams that like need a must-win map. So when I see Upward here as map 3, technically map 4, right, of this best of 5 grand finals, where Witness is up 2-1, I am not sure about how they're going to be able to play this one out, because there's just not much on tape about this situation. If I were to describe how I feel the game is going to go in a couple sentences, I feel like Dumb Kids have the pieces to kind of brute force their way through it, with pieces like Brian and Jacob that have been very much heating up, especially on product. And Witness Gaming are going to need to dig into that macro superiority on stopwatch that we saw them have on Steel.
I was just gonna say, I mean, I think I can beat you in, rather than say a few sentences, right? I think I can boil down what Upward comes down to in 6 letters. Sniper. It is an incredibly sniper dependent map. First and third especially a sniper can really just put the brakes on your entire push. You get into last and it's its own beast entirely. So I think, from what we've seen thus far, I think I gotta take Brian over Lenny right now. And even if Lenny starts coming alive on this map, Jacob's really been having much more impact than Fish over the long run here, I gotta say.
Yeah, I mean, pick class is always going to be very impactful on these stopwatch maps, where one well-timed pick is enough to get that snowball rolling, and Upward is a stopwatch map that it's very important. Obviously, like hitting a snowball is important on a lot of stopwatch maps, but on Upward, the first into second snowball is very important, because second is a point that over the years has become less of a hold for defense. Offenses have gotten better and better at, once that defense is backed up into kind of like the wooden area, which is the spawn walkout, just kind of forcing the defense to give them the space, because the angles are not good for the defense there. The only time we see defenses actually really dig their heels in on Upward second are when they can get the hill hold off. It feels like as of recent years, the meta has shifted on Upward to be more first hold heavy, and so as a result, we've seen less hill holding. If a team gets pushed off of first early because their sniper can't stand up to the enemy sniper, being able to buy time on that hill hold is very important, because if you can't, you essentially lose 2 points and then use half the map instantly off of an SVS.
And I do think that it's not game over there, right? Generally, most of your time on Upward holds comes from third and fourth, but what that means is that all things the same, first and second are going to be your, what makes the difference. And yeah, I mean, I think I'm not entirely surprised that the first hold has come back in. I think teams used to kind of be in a more general, like, oh, first holds aren't that good, which, shocking, I would say that, right? But I think what the first hold on Upward maybe lacks in overall soundness, it makes up for in the fact that if your sniper is on, it's lights out. If there was one first hold that you were going to hard hold a team on in an Invite Grand Finals, it would be this one, and it would be because Brian or Lenny are just going absolutely Super Saiyan and shooting everyone out of the air. It is one of those points where people talk about a lot of maps being sniper friendly and sniper being a pain to deal with. I do not think there is any point on any map where sniper's as dominant as Upward First.
Yeah, the sightlines are just so long. Where even if you agree, feel like there are other points that may be close to as good or better, Upward First is definitely up in that conversation. Like the sightlines are brutal for the offense walking up on any angle. The actual avenues you have of getting on the sniper are very limited. You're most of the time gonna have to rely on a soldier bomb that like actually gets in, and the sniper not unscoping or like not having a buff on him, because from the playground spot, which is the standard sniper spot, Spy has a very hard time getting in. You have to do the rock jump into the jump onto playground into a very exposed decloak and hope that you get ignored. It's not, the onus is not on you to get that stab, it's on the enemy team to let you get the stab.
To the point, yeah, where a lot of the times you're not even going to bother trying, right? Between getting the telly, going for
you only
gun
try
saps.
that. You only try that if your team has gotten held on the point for 2 minutes already.
I was also going to say 2 minutes. I'm glad we're in agreement on the gut feeling of when that time is to start really just saying, all right, we got to throw everything in the kitchen sink at this sniper. But yeah, a lot of other things for your spy to be doing there. Getting the gun, I think, can be big. But ultimately, yeah, that sniper going down tends to be the first domino that needs to fall for that first hold to go through. And I mean, personal opinion, I think the second hold on Upward has always been one to me that is a weird one, because I think it's both one of the scariest holds to go into against a team that knows what they're doing, also one of the hardest to pull off. You really need an entire team of really well, strong comms, everyone knows what their role is, everyone's able to win their DM fight, and really, it feels cheap to say teams aren't good enough to pull it off anymore, but I'm still scarred from having to push into the K&D Upward second hold all those years ago.
Yeah, especially when teams can set retake ground on you. Like if you push into second and you get caught by like a really good tracks rotate, and then they push you back onto hill, that's where second time starts stacking up. And that's where teams who are really good at it will make the difference on Upward. So we'll see if any of these teams have that in their game plan or if it's a first hold to the death. But we are in 2 Upward here. Map 3, technically 4 of our grand finals. Witness Gaming currently lead DK 2-1. This is a championship point map for them. Meanwhile, Dumb Kids need to get this one on the board to take us all the way.
Yep, I don't think we've had a full 3-2 in a Highlander VO5 yet, so this may be the first one. Chat, correct me if I'm wrong. But Crit's coming out right now. Witness will be starting on defense, which means they do get the benefit of pushing their own time, as it is their own map. Seen a lot of times coming out in the hovering around 8 minutes or so on the average.
Fish is staring at Took as Took right now. Very funny. And he close up and he doesn't move. Okay, he moved.
Let's see. You see the one sticky just in the middle of the wall on the left side?
Yeah, I wonder what's the point of that one. There's no world where that one does anything but get shot by a shotgun.
It's high enough up, too, that, like, it doesn't hit a whole walkway.
Yep, Gates will drop on Dumb Kids offense. And as Witness Gaming map pick, they choose defense first, which I like, let Lenny have a chance to warm into the match, give him that favorable side select. Jacob, taken low, has to go back into spawn, which means he will not be in position for any kind of sap play for a bit longer. We'll get through just now. Knife melted, he can't get into the sap, so this is either going to be a fast exchange. Look at this, early DH from Billy Boy. I actually really like it.
Yeah.
The gun has to move back because of it, but it does stay alive.
It can definitely catch teams by surprise, and it's going to witness to, you know, really make sure that doesn't hit them. Lenny starting things off
So it
strong with the
begins.
SES win on to Brian. Indeed it does.
Yep, and now with Brian dead, you see Witness Gaming playing further up on the hill, just playing with the space that they have. And whenever you get caught in a cycle of this, of you trying to, like, you know, maybe get the SAP or maybe get the SVS, you fall into this trap of not actually using your supercharge for dumb kids. So they are going to walk their medic out of spawn. Jacob has gotten caught twice now, trying to go behind. So the teleport is still up. It's not been a good start for Jacob. Uber exchange going to come. Fuzzy gets popped up. Good air blast from Melon, going to completely push that Uber back. And Uber gets really no space. We'll see what can happen in post now. As direct hit spam up to the top. Takes Eerie about to half HP. We'll get an arrow. But Ashley's dead. Tried to cross, and Brian hits that headshot.
Fish getting the counter espionage kill. Maybe not the one he was hoping for, but it's the one he's going to get. And, you know, we say how important the sniper pick is. Ultimately, Med is going to be pretty
That's the only one that's
important.
better. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe the only pick that you'd want more. It will signal the back out right now. Lenny's going to go all the way back to. They're not even attempting to do a bit of
kills. Yeah, they have no kills. They can't do it. Yeah, Eerie's even gonna. Eerie stays up top. I like the spot for heavy. Gives you the option of going upper if you want, but it's just gonna be a normal rebuild on second. Standard gun outside of the spawn for Flu. Eerie peeking way too aggressively. It gets taken down. They will at least trade two, and they get Billy Boy, so the chase sounds pretty good. But Cart still moving is gonna be all well and good. Now Blake is half HP. Blake needs to be careful here. Will manage to get out to his team at 95%, and if you were DK here, you'd love to have used this Uber advantage, but I think their health and player numbers are just too bad, so they're gonna have to give up the advantage and just fight this on even ground. And look at this, the space has been taken. Lenny is up here scoped, and he has a battalion, so he's gonna swing out. It's a headshot, but Uber popped out.
Yep. Gonna be a bit of a wet noodle fight right here. No one able to do too much with all the shiny players. Brian, though, peeking wide. Because Lenny got a flash at the back end of that to try to give him a win in the SBS. I love that, and it doesn't work out. Brian gets
Blake is dead, though.
Sniper dead, and yeah, Blake's gonna go down. Lots of kills on the side of the defense, though. Actually staying up may not mean anything if she doesn't have anyone to hit.
Gotten tons of cleanup, and they're actually going to have more players alive in post. No medic, no problem. As long as you keep those bodies up and on the cart can heal you. That's your medic, and they're going to get that second cap very quickly. 3 minutes through 2 is pretty good start for Dumb Kids.
Yep, about probably a little faster than average, I would say. I think you normally look this around 4 minutes through second. Tends to be the standard, as it is that long cart distance between second and third that they've got to push up.
Yeah, and
coming over.
The kill on Blake at least does give Ashley here an Uber advantage to work with. We do see Jacob isn't behind, but he's caught for now. They know he's behind, but he does manage to make it alive, so will be a bit of a nuisance for a bit longer. All the distraction does buy his team time to get that cart up the first ramp, pretty uncontested. No one really taking damage up to this point, as the rest of the players trying to stack on. Poseidon taken very low. They're trying to get him. It'd be a big pick to take that banner down, but he just barely gets out alive. Meanwhile, Crump not so lucky. Melon getting a 2K, taking down Brian as well, with the Uber coming in. They don't find Blake crucially, though, as Melon caps off with the triple, but that is going to be all she wrote for that Uber.
Yep, just a bit of a stat pad Uber to buy themselves some time and space. Right now, Cart has made it up to the bottom of the second ramp, so not immediately in the danger zone. Blank catches Jacob.
The aggressive gun. It's going to be immediately forcing two onto low ground here. As that Wrangler pointed at main, is going to probably force an early Uber if the sniper wouldn't. And they're going to pop immediately. Gun taken down. Good air blast onto Crump. Will deny a lot of this damage. Really good job by Melon here. And stays alive. So that's some great plays. Now Lenny uncontested takes down triple off that cart. And Billy Boy taken down as well. So things are not looking good for DK here. Fish finding that backstab onto Brian means that this push is basically dead in the water.
Yeah, it's funny about how different points work, right? How it feels like there are some points where defense wants the Uber more than offense, which to me is like a vigil sec. Then some maps like awkward third, where like if you don't have Uber on defense, you're not really that concerned. It's very easy to stuff an offensive Uber.
High bomb coming in. They're trying to stack in and find Ashley. Good air blast from Melon puts Crump in no man's land.
Oh, and then the Wrangler aimbot to snipe him out in the back. Cart still does not make it up that
they
second
got the
ramp.
Uber force, though.
Thing.
The Uber force was gotten, so you'll take that if you are DK, and Cart is onto that second man. That's about as far as you get it without actually taking the corner, so from here on out, you gotta win a fight. Now, the question is that Blake has 70% Uber. How aggressive do you go until he has that Uber? Lenny's still scoped on the angle. Jacob does have a spot in behind, so you gotta imagine he wants to try and find this Lenny pick.
Fish is calling the aggro now. This is a little bit aggressive. Blake moving in. Fish
Jacob
coming
has
in,
the
not
pick.
gonna
Jacob
find the
gets
step.
one. He gets the engineer, but not the pick he actually wanted. Blank and Kira go down, though, in addition.
But now Blake has the Uber added. It may not even matter. They're not even going to have to use enough kills that everyone on Witness is going to sound the back out. They're back up, going for the spawn hold right now. Ashley coming up on Uber shortly, so it won't be an ad, but offense does have Uber. See what they do with it.
Yep, you gotta imagine Brian's gonna get work in up top here. He takes a shot out of lower, doesn't like it, moves up to upper with that buff. So the all-important last SVS, which sniper will take the other out of high ground? Hasn't happened yet, but you gotta imagine. Oh, Uber comes out of top. Billy Boy takes a flash to get upper. I kind of like that, as Uber is trade out with no one going down.
Yep, no real ground gained right now. Brian peeking out of Harry Potter, trying to find something. Billy Boy over the top. Gonna get the gun down. Will lose his life for it, though. It buys time on the front for him to walk in. Both heavies traded out at the same time. Poseidon in low. Jacob on his trail has him decloaked in time, and they will end up trading each other. Blows himself up on the spy. Brian losing the SVS up top. Gonna be massive. No offensive sniper means that the offensive push is about as good as done.
Yep, Lenny post up, level 2 sentry gun, now up for Flu rebuild, and Witness Gaming getting to dig their heels in a bit, establish a defense on this last. Time so far is, I'd say, pretty average on both sides. You're not really too upset or happy up to this point. So if Witness Gaming can continue extending this defense, they will be happy campers. And look at that, Lenny headshot onto Fuzzy. I saw there, we had Eerie putting Fist of Steel in front of him in the gun, so just doing tons of work. And now with that shot into Crumb, we are seeing Lenny starting to take over here. That said, cart time is pretty good for DK.
Yeah, they don't have it quite at the bottom of the hill, but, you know, once you get it there, that is kind of once you can start playing, not quite in panic mode, but everyone needs to keep an eye on it. You're always keeping that eye out. I mean, this hold has been really solid thus far. Crump coming in with the Uber now through May. Brian getting a flash to take out Melon. Pyro going down means no spam can get denied. Jacob onto Poseidon as well. So the kills are starting to come in. Brian up Lenny's huge.
Yeah, that you gotta imagine that's the last domino to fall. Uber has to come out here. It gets two, but look at the cards getting pushed. It barely gets cleared just in time before Triple can get over the line.
Man.
Yeah, and now repush has to come in Eerie and No Man's Land, but gonna get help from a sentry gun. 1 HP heavy, and Eerie will live. That's a very important life to keep, as Kira has respawned and is back into upper, but Eerie can't get out of dodge in time. Level 3 sentry gun is the big player of this defense right now. Wrangler comes up just in time, as we see Lenny is back alive. Can he get a headshot to help relieve some pressure? Gun gonna go down. Crump dead as well, but look at the card. Triple again, just can't get it in, and they're trying to stack on it. Now Jacob's on it. They have to get Jacob. He gets an arrow. What a good arrow, and he's gonna cap it.
Yep, 830 to me is about exactly as average as you could get, I would say. Hard to think of a more standard time. But
yeah,
man,
any time between like 7:45 and 8:30 is like sometime I'm looking at it as average.
I've got it out for the upward map maker. The fact that the ramp is so long. I mean, ultimately wouldn't have only changed the overall time by 15-20 seconds, but like, thinking of Eruption's last, how it has that ramp on it, but it's so much shorter.
Yeah, I mean, that's just the quirk of the map, and a lot of people don't like the map for that reason. For a lot of reasons.
Quirky.
For a lot of reasons, but either way, 8.5 minutes, could go either way on this first round of Upward. Witness Gaming now on the offense. Dumb Kids will see if they can hold that time and go up 1-0 on their opponent's second map pick. We're looking at Brian to be the big contributor here as he gets ready for his Upward first defense.
Yeah, with the 830, I think knowing that this is the map pick of Witness, I'm going to lean very slightly, you know, maybe a 53-47 in their favor. But it's so hard to consistently cut up against Brian on Upward.
Yep, scoped up on that off angle right side of the shot of the aluminum sheeting. Shot not coming through immediately, and here comes the double bomb. Poseidon actually whiffs it a bit. He goes too short, and Kira kind of just left out to dry. Poseidon and Lenny just going to go down and blank dead. So Sack not too successful, but that's about what you can expect. I wish that someone was on the cart, though.
Zach, riddle me this.
Yep.
Why would you not have your Pyro Jetpack in there?
Yeah, I get it. I agree.
It's another
you
bomb.
might as well. If you're
Just let me hear it. Just let me hear it, man. It's been 3 hours. I want to hear it.
Yeah, no, jetpack would be fine there. I agree. That said, now Uber is out for Witness Gaming, walking over the hill, cresting it, trying to force that defense on Uber, and here it comes in match. Sentry Gun basically untouched as Fish is in spawn, so get the Sapper on it. Is an Ohm Wrecker on it, but eventually he will get that teleport entrance, so that's essentially what they've gotten for that one. Billy Boy building up on that banner, doesn't have too much quite yet, but will want to get that before the next offensive push. Cart scope from both snipers, neither one's going to hit it. Fish gets a Sapper onto the gun, and 2 goes down, no one can defend him. A lot of aggression coming from Witness Gaming. They're going to take Playground with flank here, and this should be a cap. They have all the position they need.
I think Carson may have accidentally picked up his gun, which means he's going to lose it. I don't think that was the intention there to pick it up. Could be wrong, but
they're still committed. Kira needs to go down. Kira's swinging really wide. He can totally die here, and he will die for that. That said, look at the flank from Poseidon. He gets crumped, so both Demo Man's dead. That's going to favor the offense here with the better spawns and positioning. So cap in coming for Witness Gaming after what is about a minute? Oh, yeah, about a minute. 2 minutes. Yeah, minute 45 about. So you're fine either way. And Brian's still alive as our heal, so they're going to look to soft hold hill here. Uber up for Blake and Co. I like playing forward here. The problem is they don't have an engineer. So
they're going fast. Yeah, I really like this Uber popped out. Gets the defensive Uber quickly, and they're just gonna only get the Uber cycled, and they are gonna hightail it out of dodge. I love this ending Uber on the sniper to give him an ad in the SBS. His trades coming back and forth, but all in favor of the offense. The dry push is all that they need. They just needed to get the Uber out of the defense, and they're very happy to take the point with the high ground that DK so kindly gave them.
This is why teams have gotten more and more used to giving second, is because once you get pushed off the front of the hill, you can't actually play on that low ground. You are at full angle disadvantage, and it just gets ruined immediately. So they lose all their players, lose all the position. They have Carson's level 3, which is buying some time for spawners. It will go down here, but at least the rest of DK have gotten out of their spawn.
Yep, they have all their bodies out, trying to get presence in bucket. They're able to take out 2. Billy Boy hit so low, will be able to escape back in to get healed. Gonna see if they can capitalize on being down.
Uber popped out. Flash on the spy.
Crump
getting
drop?
that one. Yeah, Crump ends up going down. They didn't pop Uber right now, dumb kids, but this is honestly fine for them as long as they have enough players to pop back in on this third defense. It's still 5 minutes left on the clock. You cannot really give this up. It's too much time, but Fish out there will try to revolver down the sniper, has Poseidon with him, and Poseidon just ignored the sniper to go for the engineer. I guess you can do it, but Blake is just dead. Look at
Eerie coming out of shithouse, finds Blake and Triple. That Uber just baited everyone into getting way too aggressive, and they fly into their death. Gonna be the dagger coming out of shithouse to find the med. They've already got people moving into last. Lenny taking some angles up top, and curious, is that a spawn camp under Crump?
I believe so, yeah.
Crump was now drop down to Kierwood main, according to Dolphin. So
Dumb Kids need to stabilize here. It's 4.5 minutes left on the clock. That is plenty of time for Witness Gaming to get this one into that pit. They have Uber out as well to start things off. So once this cart gets around the bend, you got to imagine they're going to want to go in as fast as possible, rotating underneath into the stairwell. As they have this Uber now getting ready to go. This could be the knockout punch on round 1 here.
Yeah, could be putting us on championship point yet again. Sitting up top, gonna be the Uber comes out from lower. Not only, but you see Poseidon takes the flash, jumps up top, has control over top left. Gonna be really important as this goes on.
Look at Poseidon.
Just getting to the rim.
Such a good job here denying them. He jumps up and kills Fuzzy, and no one can really get out onto this cart. That is textbook from Witness Gaming here. Very dominant in the first round of Upward, and you gotta imagine
4 minutes.
I mean, something like that. That was
They pushed 4.5. They pushed 4.5. 4:40.
Yeah, I mean, completely blazing time. They did that perfectly. And you got to imagine if they can just do that one more time, it's looking like they're going to be champions. That was pretty uncontested.
All of the praise to Poseidon doing what Gabe never could and jumping top left. Completely shuts down all of the presence there. Makes it so that everyone on the red team is forced to take a lot of suboptimal angles, not able to get the best one onto denying the cart push. They're able to just slowly, choke them out 1 kill at a time. And I mean, the defense from DK, the offense from DK looked fine. The defense, they looked so scattered.
I'm trying to pinpoint, what I think went wrong for them on the defense. On first, like first didn't go that badly. Like you held on for a push and a half, your gun got sapped, you lost a couple players, you back out with your team alive with Uber. That's fine. They got really scared into insta popping that Uber defensively, and they couldn't take enough forward presence that they got completely mulched on the low ground. If you're going to commit your Uber to that second defense, you have to commit to holding forward, because if you back up onto that low ground, you really are just ceding all the space to the offense. And from there, the snowball really started. They wiped all the players on second. They were getting spawn camped at the start of third. Their sentry was never set up. Their sniper could never really get an aggressive angle. Stickies could never really get spammed. And from there, the snowball kind of kept going through. So, I mean, while they did get rushed or crushed through every point after first, it really does start with second. And I mentioned it at the top of the map. Teams that have gotten good at holding second are the ones that are able to eke out the extra time on upward. And second on upward is the most dynamic point of the map. It's where the most variable positions can be held by the offense and the defense combined, especially with tunnel factored in. So the team that is able to play this second area better is just going to have overwhelming advantage, and Witness Gaming looked flawless on it.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I'm fully with you on the second point too, where I do wish teams maybe tried to put a little bit more effort into it. I think it can be a crazy good hold, but it's also one that, if it only takes a little bit to go wrong to break it, so does not surprise me. Teams want to, value that first hold. I do want to say though, I think DK overcommitted to first quite heavily. There was a point where you're like, oh, they're out, but then you're saying, wait, no, they're not. They're still kind of lingering on hill. And then you have some really ugly late deaths after the back of that fight that I think meant they had no chance of contesting hill.
There was it looked like I was hovering my camera over the defense as they're backing out into hill. It looked like there were two factions in comms of like a group that wanted to back out and a group that wanted to stay in. We saw like soldier demo committing left side to stay in, sniper medic engineer were looking to get out. And when you make a split call like that, it's just not going to work. You lose players on the back out, and like you said, they gave up enough players that even though they had medic and a couple good classes on the hill ready, if you can't deny that space and the offense takes that aggressive Uber into you, you're essentially playing exactly into their hands. They want you to use that Uber. They want you to get stuck on low ground.
Yeah, nope, fully agreed with that. And to me, I almost feel like you're better off just not even contesting hill once you have the low ground. The Ubers went off.
Yeah,
they
no, I
them.
totally agree. If you're stuck on low ground hill, you just play to back out second.
If your sniper or spy give you a good advantage, maybe that's when you risk a repush, right?
Well, the actual successful repushes we see on upwards second are when the offense has committed low ground to cart. We see a combination of like a Trax flood of like the mobile classes and sniper combined with like an Uber through the front spawn. When the offense commits onto the corner, that's when you can contest your Uber and like use your Uber aggressively on second for a repush out of spawn. You can't do that before the offense commits to low ground, because if they still hold high ground on you, you're just in the worst spot.
Which is another thing I want to give credit for, right? I've mentioned a few times, at least once on Upward already. I mentioned a lot on Vigil. Which team wants to have the Uber more, right? On Upward third, it's defense. Or excuse me, it's offense. Upward third defense, if you have everyone else staying alive, Uber is kind of, negotiable. I think on second, however, though, the defense really wants it, especially if they're going to try to play it passive. So it was a really heads-up play to me by Witness Gaming to use aggressively, jump your demo in, get the force out, and immediately hightail it out, because if one team's hold, if the defensive hold is reliant on them having an Uber to fall back on, even just by trading, you come ahead.
Yeah, and Witness Gaming showed a lot better trades overall on the map. Not even just on second, on first as well. I like what they did with the fast exchange. And I just felt like they played the map better, and obviously that's evident, right? A 440 time is very hard to beat. And for dumb kids now getting put on defense first, you have to find an answer to that offense that just scorched you. So, I mean, your season's on the line, obviously. One more round to Witness Gaming, and it's over. They're champions, and dumb kids get the second place medal. And they don't want that, so when you look at Upward and how it's been going for you, what can you say? Like, what can you do about these the snowball that just got rolled on you. Like, do you focus in on first? Like, are you going to commit harder to first as a team and just forfeit second, or do you have a plan for second that doesn't involve getting caught off guard by the aggressive Uber and then just bleeding out?
Yeah, I mean, I think the plan's probably gotta be a little bit more just about solid fundamentals on defense, right? I think that they kind of bungled their hold on first and second, definitely, but even third just was not as good as you'd like to see it. I mean, I mentioned I don't think you need Uber as much on defense on third. You need bodies, right? And third's a point that you can milk a lot of time off of, even if you don't. Sometimes like playing a team, they're worse than you. You're getting aggressive on upward hill. You feel invincible, like you have all this high ground and whatnot. Where was I going with this? I think I might have brain farted, but on third, you have numbers. That's what it turns into, right? It's just playing smart, making sure you stay alive. Remember exactly what you need to win the map, be it, Ubers, be it positioning, be it numbers, and just play to that.
What the players buy you is space. Players hold space in games, and upward third, the reason why the defensive Uber is less imperative to the hold is because the defense has access to the entire like flank out space of upward third, where you have players who can play bucket side, you have classes like scout that can go out tracks, you have sniper who can like swing out into tracks and main, and then you can play out this entire space up to roller coaster and fight around it. The problem for them is because they got rolled off of second in such a dominant fashion, and with late deaths too, they never had the chance to control that space. So I don't even want to say that like their third defense is bad fundamentally. They didn't even get a chance to like show fundamentals on it because they were stuck in spawn for the first half of it, and then on the second half they kept bleeding players, and there were people in their backline. And if you can't set up on third, then you can't get players, you can't hold the space. That's the snowball. Like, the upward third snowball is rare, and it doesn't look like other point snowballs because the card has so much time. But what the upward third snowball actually looks like is bleeding enough players on the defense, like trading up enough with space and kills, that the defense can never set up. And that's exactly what we saw happen to Dumb Kids there. And the solution has to just be, like, know where your holds are. If you're going to commit to second, you have to full commit so that you either wipe fast and get onto third, or actually play second out with like the idea of repushing and hard holding it. I don't know what they think they're better at, but they have to decide, because if they do what they did last round again, then the season's over.
Yeah, that is true. We could be looking at a very fast time here if anything from the half we just saw continues on right now for the side of Witness Gaming. And I mean, you look at their side, not a whole lot they got to fix, right? Usually the team that the impetus to improve your gameplay is on the team that's losing. The team that's winning is going to say, okay, sure, prove that you can start beating us here before we start having to adapt.
Yep, and DK taking a long time to talk about this. They still have a couple people in spec, and it makes sense, right? Like, you got completely shown up. That was, like, there were a couple one-sided rounds on product, but, like, overall, this is the first time tonight over Steel and product that there has been a visible disparity in the team's competency on a map.
Yeah, I think that's a good. I think that's a good way to put it. Even I'm shocked they picked Steel first, given how solid their upward is, actually. But we have readied up, so for what could be the last half of season 23, we move in to half 2 of Upward Witness Gaming. Starting on the defense means that at the very least, Dumb Kids is going to be able to push their own time. They'll have the benefit of the clock helping out their offense.
Fish in chat says no crazy plays this time, same old. That's exactly the MO here. Keep doing what you're doing. It is working out very well for Witness Gaming. So, with them on offense, we'll see if they can replicate that sub 5-minute time or just get a decent time on the board, because honestly, if they get sub 7, I'm going to favor them very heavily into closing out this round.
Yep, and for Dumb Kids' sake, let's hope sub 7 is the best that they can get and not sub 5.
Sub 5, I think we pack our bags up a bit, but I mean, crazier things have happened, so we'll see. For right now, for DK, they need to show some cohesiveness on first. Commit to holding, commit to backing. Just make sure you get the most out of your first and second combined, because when that snowball starts, we've seen Witness Gaming can take it and roll with it. So gates dropped, Witness Gaming's second offense begins now.
Yep, Lenny starting in the main spawn exit, going for shots on the top of the hill. Not going to find anyone.
Poseidon is through, but he is just
They're
denied.
fast.
Very dead. Yeah, I like Melon going in too. Reflect gets the kill in triple, funnily enough. They get Duke as well with a headshot. I mean, that's a decent sack. It doesn't get your it doesn't get the sniper, doesn't get the medic, but with the kill into the heavy and your fish is in behind.
That could set up.
Yeah.
That could set up a future sack, where the heavy's not there. Gonna be spawning up shortly though, so you're gonna have to go quick. I don't think
He's
they
not
have
gonna
time
get
for it.
Yeah, he's not going to have the telly, so Heavy will be returning to spawn in just a bit as Uber Exchange has gone off on the front line, but it's not even an exchange actually. Witness Gaming popped over the top and Dump Kids milked it, so now they're going to go back in, see what they can find. Headshot into Kira is going to buy them a bit of space to work with, but Melon doing a decent job distracting. Jake gets a stab onto Blank, will trade his life for it. Probably not the highest value there, but gets it anyway, and now Ashley has about 5% advantage. It's not huge to work off of, but Witness Gaming going to be looking to make their second push work. Fish still in the back line. Does he have teleporter yet? He does.
It's actually way less of an ad than I would have thought. I was just about to think how one of maybe an unpopular opinion that I've got is that I think a lot of the times that you don't get a whole lot of milking Ubers on payload defense, just because if you don't kill their med, which you're very unlikely to do, you're artificially giving them ad.
Yeah, and now Witness Gaming pushing onto Playground. They've gotten a lot of damage. Poseidon hit the splash rockets. Brian and 2 go down. Crump gets backstabbed. This is all falling apart for Dumb Kids right now. That's the same thing we saw happen in the previous half. And look at this bomb forward, doing tons of damage. Blake taken out in half. Kira dead. Poseidon dead. And at least Blake gets out, but everyone is bleeding out. Cleanup kill from Fish onto Fuzzy. And you got to imagine that if you're Dumb Kids, you are feeling a lot of deja vu here.
Yep. I mean, honestly, I'm thinking first may have been the longest cap in the last half as well.
Yeah,
They don't
maybe.
quite actually, no, they do have the bodies on hill. They're going to catch
Okay.
Jacob out as well.
Okay, this is very risky for Dumb Kids here. Yeah, Lenny gets the shot onto Brian. Here comes the Uber. Sentry gun going to be the primary focus in it. Wrangler comes up just in time to deny most of the damage. And, you know, at least you deny that Uber, but right now for Dumb Kids, you have no space. Stab onto the gun. Comes through, the gun is dead. A lot of people taking damage. Tuke is dead. Billy Boy's dead. If you bleed here, you might get pushed back on third again, and they're going to lose 4 and the point. Make it 5.
Yeah, 2:32 through second, I believe, is the fastest individual time we've seen thus far.
This is insane deja vu. Like, this is the exact same thing that happened to Dumb Kids in the last round. Witness Gaming have it down like a well-oiled machine right now that is on their way to a championship.
Yep, they can smell it right now. They can set up enough, 5-ish minute time. They're going to be well on their way, putting themselves in the best possible position. The third snowball, not something you see attempted, much less pulled off as successful as we've seen it thus far. That said, Cart's just now hitting the ramps, so now is the time.
High bomb
really
coming through, and a stab onto the sniper is a big play. Carson dead as well, and so is his gun. Third is Snowball. It's done. You have to leave. You don't have Uber. It's literally the exact same thing that happened in the last round. Dumb Kids are not equipped for Upward, and it is showing.
Yeah, I mean,
They're committing. They're all or nothing it. They're saying we have to start this now.
I like this, honestly.
Yeah, I think
it's
it's the correct
desperate,
choice.
but it's what you need to do. You need to be able. At the rate it's going, you're just slowly bleeding out. Make an attempt. I mean,
It's not working though. They're going to sack onto Cart, Soldier bombing onto it. They do get Lenny, but Cart's already up the hill. It's a bit too late. They're going to lose Fuzzy. They're going to lose 2, and they lost the Uber. Blake is 20 HP, barely getting out. Doesn't eat that roller, but I mean, it's the most silver of all the linings. They're going to lose Crump, and it is not looking good for Dumb Kids. Witness Gaming are steamrolling through here.
Yeah, I mean, the best thing, you're probably looking at a better time than last time, unless you're able to really see Witness one-shot the offense, which not out of the question, but rarely do I think I'm going to bet on someone one-shotting an Upward last offense, especially with the gun and dispenser block now built up.
Jacob was in the entire enemy team, but got out for now, is calming on their locations. Level 2 sentry gun built up in last right now. We do see Brian scoped up on top of it. really needs to start rolling off some headshots. They need him to really start going off. But with the gun going down, that's that shield gone. A lot of spam coming onto these players up top left. Two very low and will die, just dead immediately. Poseidon, his jump gets denied, but he will stay alive. Fish, not so likely. Fuzzy is dead. Card being stacked by an engineer, but Blue is taken down. Crump, really the big resistance here as Uber comes out straight onto his head and he is dead.
And Poseidon has jumped up top as well. Blake pops Uber on nobody, doesn't have anyone to use it on. They're just bleeding players off the side, and
no.
what a disaster.
I mean, better time than last round.
That's maybe the biggest disaster of all, is that you get beat like that and can say, okay, we had it worse.
Yeah, and I mean, with that 5-minute, 5-second time, that is likely the alley-oop for Witness Gaming to dunk that championship. We will see now them go onto the defense. 5 minutes is all they need to defend, and they did 8.5 last round. So unless Dumb Kids dig deep here, this one's going to be done in about 5 minutes' time.
Yeah, I'm going to say keep an eye on the miniguns right now. This feels like prime crits territory season, you know, on the brink of ending. You need some kind of cheese to come in. I mean, obviously defense is going to be on the crits to get the stickies up. They're running back to spawn to switch it up. But 12 seconds or so is about how long it takes to build a regular Uber. So you may see Blake choose to switch before that, although I'm honestly hoping that just by mentioning it will manifest it into reality.
Yeah, I'd say that one's a long shot, but for Dumb Kids, wait, he did it? He did it.
Mission begins.
Oh my god, he's on Crits Creek. We are on Dumb Kids Crits. The question is, does Fish check late? Because if he checks late, then this has a very low chance of working.
Alright, my eyes are glued to how this goes. I mean, it's going to be pretty much all or nothing right
You have
here.
to find Sniper plus like 1 or 2. Because without Uber, right, the sentry gun, it's very much stronger than it would be otherwise. So there it is. It gets Brian Fuzzy. I mean, that's the bare minimum of what you needed. You got Sniper, you got Pyro. So now without Uber... Oh, wait, no, those are crit stickies.
No, those were crit stickies from the defense.
Yeah, those are defensive
The
crit
offense
stickies.
still has
Oh my
neither
God.
team's used yet, yeah.
Okay, well, I mean, we're still waiting on the crits. This is just more time, by the way, for Fish to check it.
Yeah, he's been staring at them long enough. I think it has to have been called.
What is
Lenny
snap?
gonna get stabbed? Yeah, they just decided to use into it.
Yeah, they
Definitely
knew.
called.
Yeah, they knew.
Fish trying to come in with the alley-oop. Blake gets hit down
It's
super
looking
low.
good.
Will
For,
survive.
it's looking good for DK. I mean, they kited that out by the skin of their teeth. Their health was bad, but they ended up living. And yeah, Ashley dies at the end there. And Jacob, he got a stab onto the sniper at the start, gets one onto Yuri at the end. And even though the crits itself didn't get a single kill, Witness Gaming kind of overcommitted to try and take advantage of it. I guess the crits actually got the medic kill.
No, it couldn't have though. What? They popped in.
Well, post Uber. Yeah, post Uber.
Oh, okay, post Uber. Okay, that makes more sense. Yeah, but I mean,
Wait, Shion? Okay, apparently the medic unflashed like swapping crossbow or something. Either way, that's a lot of kills per Witness, and Blake is
but
dead.
when
That's
you
what
have
they
such little
snowball
time,
down.
any one thing can take your push from the realms of possibility to near impossibility, and that honestly may have been it.
Yeah, I mean, you need with the crits on your medic, you need to keep snowballing that advantage into another crits that gets you hill. And now without that, and with Ashley on Uber, things are looking insanely dire for Dumb Kids. You have to get some kind of an off-timing pick here. You need a sniper v sniper win. You need a backstab onto Ashley. You need something. There's the start. There's the pick onto Lenny, and a soldier onto Ashley, but can't quite get it. Spy coming in, and Uber gets forced. The question is, how many players could they keep alive on the side of Dumb Kids? The answer is not very many. They are going to lose 4. A couple spawners coming back, but for every second that Witness push up, that's one less second that Dumb Kids have to get back.
Zag, we're getting a hill hold.
Yeah, I mean, I like it. The question right now is this crits? They're going to go tunnel with crits. We'll see if it works. This is a long shot. The sentry stands in the way, and that thing cannot die to crits. They're rotating out to side
Fish
tunnel.
does
I
go
like
down
it.
though, so yeah, no comms.
Oh, but the battalions, they can't get crit, right?
No, and they pop the lasers into the battalions! The interaction we never thought we'd actually see, just as Valve cooked it up! The battalion blocking not critical headshots, but the straight up crits Krieg means that that was likely the last, breath for DK right now. 2 minutes left, it's not mathematically impossible, but we are nearing that.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta imagine it's over. Ashley has full Uber ad. Level 3 is here. Jacob he doesn't even get the sap. That is so sad. Sack coming in, but the sentry gun's just denying. Erie is picked off, but Triple and Crump dead in exchange. And now Uber are gonna be taken over the hill. Ryan dead. Fuzzy dead. They're chasing down Blake. Blank is going wild. That's a 4K. Will get cleaned up, but he has done his job. And the GGs are being called in chat, even with a minute and a half left. It's basically impossible. It is going to be Witness Gaming winning Upward here and taking grand finals 3-1 overall. They're your season 24 invite champions. 23.
Yes, they are, and a great champion they have been. I mean, just really solid all season. The only map we've ever seen them lose on is Product to Dumb Kids. They've been pretty much undefeatable on anything else. Just a really solid team, and I mean, you know, Brian and Crump, and I think there are a few other players at least were on the team that won invite last season, so we're gonna have a bunch of new champions coming in. I think this may even be Witness's last season, Witness Gaming's. I know Witness said, I think, Witness the person, not the team, said he was likely going to cease sponsoring teams as he can't be as much in the scene anymore. So if so, this would be one hell of a way to go out. We're in garbage time right now. I'm currently watching the Italians Brass Beast Theory play chicken with Duke and Spawn. Crump just got mauled by the Beast as the teams are just letting the time play out. You know, nothing really going to change it. And maybe a bit of a, maybe not quite the climactic finish we were hoping for, but I think Witness Gaming proved that they really are the best team in Invite this season.
Yeah,
Only
I mean,
one map they've even been able to make to bleed on.
You think back to CP Steel, right? And Dumb Kids up 1-0, had a very favorable time, full Uber ad, and that push out in round 2 onto E where they drop 2 players and then their Uber. You gotta imagine what could have been. At that point, things were looking good. It turns out that Steel round, probably the closest point that the match would have ever been at.
Yeah,
assuming that product goes the same way.
That's going to be the one that's going to be what haunts DK. There's always one play after a season where you're like, man, if only that one went different.
Yeah. As a very convincing upward from Witness Gaming is going to end things here tonight. So, I mean, that's the season. And shout out to both these teams. They've given us quite the show over the course of it. Shout out to Rib, Penguin Logistics, DZ Creatures, all the invite teams. It was a great season overall, but, you know, at the end, we got to crown our champions, and it is Witness Gaming.
Indeed, it is strong throughout all of it. DK coming in, taking second, so, you know, a good showing from both sides. Ultimately, the stopwatch maps just ended up being a little bit too much. And, I mean, really, I think pretty good playoffs overall, right? We had both the 3 and 4 seed end up kind of swapping placement, as did the 1 and 2 seed, which is one of the more... Yeah, sometimes we have playoffs where just all the seeds are correct coming in, and that's how the teams finish. This is one where I think we definitely had a little bit more chaos. I mean, logs are up. I don't really think it's going to matter. Lenny and Kira doing great, but anytime you have such a quick payload offense, it's going to be more team-specific rather than off the merits of any one individual player.
Yeah, and it really was the better team winning overall tonight. Even if that still could have gone either way, no one can deny the Witness upward. Logs up on your screen right now. Lenny is 24-6, Blank is 24-16, putting up all the frags. I really don't think the logs matter that much at all here. Witness Gaming, we're just built for upward, prepared for it, whereas Dumb Kids were not. And like I said before, this was the only map of the night where it looked like one team was completely outclassing the other on the map pick. So at the end of the day, that's what you get for being the upper bracket champions. You know, if Dumb Kids take their product in that upper bracket and we go all the way, who knows? This could have gone any number of ways from that upper bracket, but at the end of the day, the result is here in front of you. So again, congratulations to Witness Gaming for winning the season overall. And yeah, a very good group of players here. And even though that the name Witness Gaming will not be around, you'll probably be seeing the players around, because let's be honest, no one ever leaves.
Yep, and I do think I'll ask everyone in chat to bear with us for a moment. I believe we are trying to get interviews in from the victorious Witness Gaming, so I think we'll need a minute to get that set up, so don't go anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, in the same way that was garbage time of the game afterwards. After this nice long cast, we're in quote-unquote garbage time. We still have some nice interviews coming, hopefully, and get some good insights from the teams. But yeah, I mean, it's been a long night. Thank you all for sticking with us into 1 a.m. on the East Coast, and for
I've been
Central,
meaning
it's
to
Tuesday
say,
as well.
Zach, welcome to Tuesday Highlander. You don't always get it, but
Yeah,
it's here
even
for
in
you.
Central, it's past midnight now.
Hey y'all.
All right, we have Ashley, we have Fish, we have Kira coming in. Congratulations on the dub. A good, hard-fought season comes to a close with you all at the top.
Thank
Do
you.
we
Also.
do we have anyone else coming in, or I think
It's
is
just
this
us.
it?
Just us.
Yeah.
That's fine. I hate when there's 5 or more people taking the interview anyway. Solid core right here, but we can go ahead and get talking about it. First map of the day was Steel. It's your guys' pick. A bit of a curveball. You don't normally see the Steel first pick in Invite Grand Finals, but confident in the pick, and it got a bit dicey towards the middle. You know, DK took that first round, you guys, and the second round didn't start out looking too hot either. So, I mean, how'd you guys turn around Steel in that second round and come back towards the end of it?
I'll take it. I think, well, Steel, so the idea behind the Steel pick was that they had just been perma-banning it, and we had done really good on the regular season against them on that map. So we took it to Steel, and honestly, we thought it was going to be much easier than it was. They were honestly very impressive on Steel. Compared to, let's say, what Upward was, which was really not close. Steel was really close. And after the first round, too, it was really tough, but we trusted in our ability to make adjustments, especially on the offense. And Steel is a map where, you know, little plays, small plays can go a long way. So that second round, again, was just a miracle. Like, just, we stopped it by a matter of seconds. Kira did a ton of damage to the point to stop them. That was kind of individual performances. But that last half was more of a demonstration of, like, team play on Steel, which is why we love Steel, because I think our coordination's our biggest, you know, pro, and that's exactly what happened in that last half. You know, when they use that Uber from lobby and we run to D instead of running to Wishbone, and we kept D.
Yeah.
Absolute highlight.
That was one of, like, the best plays I've ever had to do, and we capped D off that, and then the game was done because we have full ad basically going into E. So we just kept it up. We stayed calm, trusting in our coordination. A lot of people made calls that wouldn't, and I kind of, you know, that helped me a lot with my job of calling. Like, Blank called if we can do that, you know, and Blank usually doesn't say anything. So that was awesome. But yeah, just trusting in ourselves, and we got it done.
All right, and we said Steel was the first map. I want to go a little bit even before that to something that was driving Zag and I crazy over the past 2 weeks. The Swiftwater ban. Is DK that much of a threat? Are you guys not confident in it? Because from our perspective, you guys somewhat embarrassed Penguin on it in the regular season. So we're thinking, oh yeah, we're gonna see a lot of Swift, which is good for us. We love casting it. And then comes out as the first ban twice in a row against what we perceive as a you know, more of a Koth team. Just what's the rationale behind that? I've been dying to know.
I mean, I'm kind of part of the reason we banned Swiftwater. I think that a lot of people on this team just haven't really liked Swift in the past, just like previous, like banning it in like season 20 in like playoffs in season 20 up until grands. But I don't. Part of it is really just fourth is really hard. Like I have good confidence in our team across pretty much every other point, especially on offense. But it's we just ended up getting stuck on fourth a lot, and like, you know, when we're on defense and like, you know, things start really well, you know, we're able to kind of like hard hold teams on like third or fourth, like you said against the in our Penguin match. But I mean, really just a big part of it is, of course, like, you know, Brian is already really good, but he in our scrims in the regular season was doing a really, really good job of stopping us from peaking wide on fourth. And, you know, another thing is we just didn't really want to take the risk. Like, we know we're really good at Vigil. We hadn't played Upward as much as we did Vigil, but, you know, obviously, you know, judging for tonight, we were way more confident in our Upward as well. So, you know, because we felt like we were much more, like, you know, better spread out against the other payload maps, we figured that we might as well just, you know, knock that one out the way so Brian doesn't destroy everyone, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, that's a safe bet to take. Brian, as well, one of the best players, highest performing players on Dumb Kids throughout the season. But, you know, at the end of the day, you end up taking that first stopwatch map of Steel, and then you move on to Koth. We had Product played again between you two teams twice in the upper bracket finals and in the grand finals, and in the regular season too. 3 product matches against DK this season. They took the first one 4-2. You guys took upper bracket 4-3, and then they run it back 4-2 tonight. After playing them on product 3 times and them coming out overall ahead of it, in overall rounds by a somewhat decent margin, not overwhelming, but they very clearly were the better team on product. What do you guys get from playing against a team that plays product like this? And coming into the match, you probably knew they'd pick it. What did you fancy your chances on, and what was your game plan going into product?
Ashley, you want to take it or?
No.
Okay.
I think you should, Fish.
Yeah, I think I should. My rationale is product is a map that we've seen a lot, right? We've seen it a lot. As like you mentioned, we've played it now 3 times. That was the 3rd time we played it. It's been competitive every time. 4-2s. Swiftwater, to go back to what you said, Swiftwater was not competitive when we played them. We got rolled on Swiftwater by them. It's a map that I think Jacob calls really well. I think that I can call some maps better than he can, but Swiftwater's just one map where he's played it so long, I think he calls it better than I do. And we just hadn't practiced it. So product is we've seen it a lot, we can improve on it, and especially when you have this short of a period where you don't have time to practice new maps, right? Swift, we can't practice because there's no time to practice Swift. So product, I think they played it really well today. Honestly, the rounds that we lost, the first and the third half, I couldn't do anything. Literally every time I'm crossing, I'm dead. Even when I'm crossing with my team, I'm dead. Behind, I can't live. They just executed it really well. And honestly, all hats off to them. Jacob played really well on that map too. So you got to give the man the credit where it's due. But it's a map that we've seen a lot. We were comfortable leaving it in, obviously, because we had it, but we knew it was going to be a coin flip. And what the difference maker today was that we lost mids. Monday we won every mid. Last Monday. But this Monday we lost mids, and that made the rounds a lot harder. So it was good to them. You got to give them credit where credit's due. They're a grand finals worthy team. They're a first place worthy team in any other season. So, yeah, it made sense. they took it.
And then I guess to me, I think kind of going back a bit, right? I think it's been not quite sure how long it's been, but you guys were the 2nd seed coming in to playoffs as a result of the regular season loss you guys had on product. I think, going into it, everyone was kind of, okay, well, it was a close match on product. If it goes on a stopwatch, who knows what it's going to be on. Could have been map specific. But ultimately, not often do we see that 2nd seed end up winning. So what was the kind of journey over the season in terms of improving? Do you guys, think there was a lot of improvement? Where, and where did it come from? Or do you think it's been kind of consistent overall and just, it was a matter of who was better on the day?
It's a great question. And yeah,
no,
I think I definitely want to give it to Ikira, you can go ahead.
I was gonna say I feel like it definitely was. We were so strong at the beginning of the season, and towards the midseason, not really much on product. But I personally feel like I saw a bunch of improvement, not only for myself but just coordination as a team. Most teams I've played on in the past, I usually have to take a more active role in calling a lot, microing a lot, talking a lot. So it was it was kind of a, other than that one season I did play with Jacob, he was on Pyro, but other than that, it's I can't. It's kind of hard for me to kind of let someone else call a lot, or for me to kind of take a deep breath and feel like I don't have to say anything. So over the season we kind of got more into giving Fish and Blank a lot more room, or at least I did, and that made a lot of our pushes a lot better. Also, Eerie and Poseidon, progressively throughout the season got way better at calling just for me when they could get in and what they could do and things like that. So I feel like I saw a lot of improvement, specifically coordinating pushes and just communicating so things aren't as chaotic.
Yeah, and another thing to go off what Kira was saying, it's kind of funny. So Witness Gaming, we have been the we've played 4 seasons now on Witness Gaming. We've won every season we've played, and 3 out of those 4 seasons we got the 2nd seed. 3 out of 4 seasons we lost the regular season matches. We lost upper bracket finals. This is the first time we won upper bracket finals, but we usually lose multiple matches and we win the grands, and that's because we always have shifting team dynamics, etc. We improve as it goes on. But this season in particular, right, like Kira said, I hadn't played with Kira since his first season invite, maybe 3 years ago. And my calling dynamic is really different than what he's used to. And it took a lot of time for us to adjust and get used to what really worked on this team, and we started really finding our pace around playoffs, which is obviously a great time to do it. But we really reached that flow state, especially, and the key was unlocking Poseidon and Erie, because we were struggling to coordinate with them, whereas today you'll see it on Upward, especially Upward is the best example. Poseidon, Erie, Mikira, that's like what creates a collapse, and all four of us were on the same wavelength. So it got better and better and better as the season went on, and today it was just unbeatable.
Yeah, you guys did look unbeatable, especially towards the end. And I want to kind of take a retrospective on the season to kind of build off of that, where you mentioned, you guys have played 4 seasons on Witness. You've been second seed a lot, but you've, at the end of the day, come out on top, been that top invite team, the trendsetters at the top of the game in the game mode. This season, specifically for, at least I feel this way, and I feel like all those felt this way, we've had the most parity at the kind of mid-upper level of invite that we've had in a long time, where I feel like our mid-table teams, mid-high level team, like Run It Back, Penguin Logistics, even DZ Creatures to some degree, we're showing a threat level that was higher to our first and second seeds, that's higher than we're used to. What's your guys' kind of perception on the state of invite this season and how the season felt for you playing through? Because at the end of the day, you came out on top, but I'm sure it wasn't easy all the way through. You mentioned you dropped the regular season match, you improve over the course of the season. What did you kind of notice around you guys?
Ashley?
I'm okay.
I was gonna say at least. I was gonna say at least for.
I don't know how you guys have the energy for this.
At least against the third and fourth seed teams, I felt like this was a pretty good, like a pretty well-rounded season. Like, I was a little surprised earlier on, just because I mean, I think at least for one, like Rib, considering they had a lot of like newer faces to invite, like Cosmic or Fungus or Danmar, like they played exceptionally well. Like, sure, they have some people who have played a lot more, like Birdo or Mujet or Chalk, but like I think collectively Rib played really good, and a lot of times that kind of caught me off guard. I mean, the same thing that goes for Penguin Logistics. Like, most of their players weren't new to invite, but usually weren't I guess like 2 to 3 or like first and second.
It was a great season
like
of
teams,
invite.
but I was a little surprised to see that. Like, I felt like they played very well against us as well as against Dumb Kids, especially on Proot in the regular season. Like Rib, even though they lost, they did do like a very good job of like bringing it close to them. But I felt like it was like a healthy season. I was glad to see like newer faces in invite that are like having like a pretty good showing, on different teams.
Yeah, I don't know if we get lucky with the timings, but it seems like every season that
Lucky.
we decide, every season that we decide to play on Witness Gaming, like season 20, season 23 now, has been just really good season. So I love that. I mean, I'm all for the competition. We had 4 teams that all had top invite talent, which is rare. Like, Rib has Mujet, Rib has Birdo, Rib has these phenomenal Danmar, who's one of the best new talents we've seen
easily.
Yeah, and then obviously Exile's team has Exile and Gen, both invite winners on their classes, and obviously Jacob teams go unspoken for. So really great season of invite, and to be honest, to see that like season 23 have this much talent is a great sign for the league. So it was a really fun season in general.
All right, glad to hear it, and I think we are winding down. But Fish, I'll give you one last open mic here. I've been giving you and a lot of other invite teams grief over the course of the season for it. Give me the defense of the Vigil First Hold, please.
I knew you were going to ask about that. I knew you were going to ask about that. That's so funny. I knew you were going to ask about that. And so many people have been talking to me about how Alto hates my Vigil First Hold. And I'll tell you this. Season 16 is when we started. That was the first Witness Gaming season. We started doing the Vigil First Aggro Hold. Nobody did the Vigil First Aggro Hold until then. And now every team does it. But I think they do it wrong, and I'll tell you why. I think that Vigil First Hold... So what stops most teams right now? Either they die to a sack, or they hide on flank in the posts. And I think that if you can exchange and then end tracks and stuff their sniper, if you can play tracks and stuff their sniper, it's an okay result. Another thing, if they sack, waste 30 seconds sacking, we force, none of us die. Now we go to the chicken wire hold. One, it's hard to break that without using Uber as the offense. And two, the problem for the offense is now we're going to slow you down as much as possible. And even if you cap it without using Uber, you're going to lose some players. We're going to bully us out. Okay, now we're out the second, and now we have Uber. And now it's, or we're about to come up on Uber. And by the time the cart gets there, we're going to have Uber. So, and that's exactly what happened the last time we played them on Vigil, by the way. So, I love doing it. I think it's a bold play. It's an aggressive play. That's the kind of plays that I like to make. So, that's my defense of it. I think a lot of teams do it wrong, but I respect them for trying it.
I don't know if you watched the cast of the Vigil matches, but whenever I was forced to play devil's advocate for all the, crapping on that hold, a lot of those reasonings you just laid out were things that, like, I and a couple other, like, I'm sure the more adept viewers were able to kind of intuit of, like, that being the end result or, like, the end goal that you were looking for. So it's interesting to hear it laid out like that. But yeah, I mean, that should close the chapter on the Vigil hate for this season, or the Vigil first hate for this season. He's been aching to get that one out.
For this season, yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, until next season.
See how it
but
goes.
we'll go ahead and open the floor for, I guess, final thoughts for all of you invite winners. It was a hell of a season. We've laid that out, and I'm sure you're very happy with the result and happy with the team. So if there's any shout-outs you want to give, any closing remarks, floor is now yours.
Easy as. Shout out Sin. Love her. She's great. Helped me out a lot this season with getting my, breaking me out of retirement and getting my medic game in order. So shout out Sin, absolutely. And then happy birthday, Rogue. This win's for you. Shout out Rogue.
Fish, you have any?
Yeah, sure, I'll go. I'll say that, this season was definitely really special. It felt really good. One thing, I feel like I've kind of completed Spy. As funny as that sounds, I feel like I've kind of completed Spy now because the one person I always wanted to beat was Jacob, because I kind of molded my playstyle around him. So like getting to play against him and beat him in this season was like really special for me. And it was like all the people I looked up to when I was first starting to play the game. Like in these 4 seasons of Witness Gaming, I've gotten to beat now. So like Bull, JJ, Lenny, Jacob. So it's kind of like a full circle moment for me. So this season was really special. Big shout out to Mujet, Capone, the Brazilians. Shout out to Ace and Fume. Ace, thank you for the server. Shout out to Witness for sponsoring us all these seasons. He brought an end to Witness Gaming, but he's the reason we were able to do all this. So, big shout out to Witness. And shout out Mr. Popo, 3-time champ.
Shout out Took. I'm doing this for Dotwet. Yes, Took did play good. I do acknowledge that, Dotwet. I know. My mom is my biggest fan. She always asks me, how did your match go? So I guess shout out my mom. And I'm just again doing this for Dotwet and Lucky. They're telling me to comment on going super earns, so I'll say super earns for them since I say that doesn't exist. And also happy birthday, Rogue.
All right, and I think that'll do it. I will definitely echo the happy birthday, Rogue sentiment. Maybe one of the best humans we have in the community. So, big happy birthdays to Rogue, and big congratulations to you 3 as well as the rest of Witness Gaming on your championship. As we said, last Witness Gaming season, you guys, I'm certain, have done Witness proud, going out with a bang. So I think that's going to be it from us. We are nearing 1:30 in the morning here on the East Coast. Once we hit the 4-hour mark, things start to get a little bit loopy.
Tuesday Highlander.
Even for Zag in Texas,
Yeah.
It's Tuesday Highlander, yeah. So I think that'll be it from us. I know we have the Retro Map Cup coming up over the off-season. Should be a grand old time. Get to revisit some old Highlander classics. Badwater, I think it's Badwater, Gravel Pit, and PL Waste, the Tug of War map, which is actually the first map I ever played a Highlander match on. Fun fact.
Okay, Grandpa.
Yeah, I know. But thank you for sticking with us so long. we're going to wrap it up here. This has been Season 23 Invite Grand Finals of Witness Gaming taking the prize. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next season.
Bye, y'all.